3 months after. Yu Province, Beiping County Endless City, 2, Southern Part, Swallow Castle, 3, acting as the Yoyan 16 Province's 4 great star cultivator clans, the power of Beiping County's Yan clan influenced 4 provinces, being able to directly disregard all levels of society. Also above Yu Province's Governor-General, even if it was one of the 10 great sects, they would still be courteous. However, in Star Site year 975, the Great Liang Dynasty Imperial Court and the Yan clan that treated each other as honored guests constantly were met with a grim challenge. The Swallow Castle's training grounds and surroundings were filled with 100 Yan clan children. These that just recently cultivated and could be considered to have just been initiated star cultivators gazed steadily at the battle within the courtyard. A Yan clan child currently was fighting bitterly with a young girl and had been beaten back to a dead end, as if he was not a match. However, the Yan clan child seemed to forget this senior brother of his. 5. His gaze, at any time, was directed to the courtside at a haughty girl leisurely sitting on a sandalwood phoenix chair. 6. Brimming with envy, with jealousy. That girl's red clothes covered her body. Below her slender jade neck, a piece of her soft breast, like white jade, was half covered, half exposed. Her white torso was bound, unexpectedly not fully clenched. A tall and long pair of sleek, shapely and graceful legs were uncovered. Even her elegant lotus feet were soundlessly alluring, giving off a captivating invitation. A bright scarlet mantle was draped over her body, the covering threads weaved into a feather garment. On her forehead was a dab of red makeup, and most notably, hanging under her ears was a pair of jade and stone red one earrings. 7, one flaming, the other blue, a look told that these were not ordinary items. Her scarlet eyes gazing at the battle in the courtyard were calm and unruffled in the midst of chaos, her vermilion lips tasting tea, her expression comfortable. The girl battling in the courtyard also was absolutely colorful and extraordinary. Her simple and elegant white and purple palace dress gave off a delicate and graceful appearance. Her brow was covered in a bluish-green fog, her red mouth flecked with cinnabar. Her eyes were limpid autumn waters, her skin lustrously glossy, her manner refined, her lips without a speck of red. 8, her brows without a smudge of bluish-green, her face like a silver basin, eyes like water apricots, her character also upright, and her appearance abundant and prosperous. As her white hand danced, light moved in all 4 directions, a hollow and multicolored light of the horizon sparkled brilliantly, swaying. These 2 girls were gorgeous and stunning. This one calm and that one moving made the Yanzi Castle's 100 virgin males and virgin females teasingly infatuated and head over heels. Even if it was the Yan clan's genius star cultivator with the greatest prospects, Yan Feiyun, 9, under the grace of that young girl, he would swiftly suffer defeat underneath that gorgeous sword. The young girl recalled the sword, clasped her hands behind her back and stood. With her slim figure, a certain place on the watching men was hard. Her smile was like a chime in the wind, melodious and beautiful. Senior Qingtian, 10, as per our agreement, in 4 months, Han Yan, 11, has defeated 4 Yan clan children. Isn't it possible to bestow the Yen Bit Spirit Sand, 12, upon Han Yan? Sitting in the middle of the courtyard was a middle-aged man with sideburns, looking somewhat disappointedly at Yan Changyun. His gaze floated to the red-clothed girl in the courtyard, smiling. Princess Ling Yan's martial arts are unrivaled, her sword technique excellent, Yan admired. With the princess being considerate this way, the Yan clan promised 4 months and 4 battles, 1 defeat would already conclude our bargain. The Yan clan lost, its strength is of no use. Yan Qingtian momentarily flashed into the courtyard. He fixed his gaze on his counterpart. However, Yan has one final request. Oh. This young girl calling herself Han Yan did not change her smile. 4 months and 4 battles, each initiated by the princess. Yan very much wants to see just what star general has an imposing manner as this. Is it possible to let the Yan clan feast their eyes on the legendary star general, and even better, let this Yan cheerfully cup his hands as he gifts the Yan Bit Spirit Sand? Yan Qingtian uttered this, and those awestruck boys and girls all tumultuously looked at that haughty, red-clothed girl. 4 months of duels, and unexpectedly, they were all initiated by Princess Ling Yan while the Star General was nearby drinking tea? This actually was too beyond their expectations. Princess Ling Yan indeed was the great Liang dynasty's first princess. Junqing, 13, what do you think? Princess Ling Yan had a smile on her face, asking the girl. The red-garmented young girl set down her teacup, using her tongue to lick. Getting up, within a stride, she entered the courtyard, her rate of speed near instantaneous. Junqing carried a kind of slightly disdainful smile as she sized up Yan Qingtian. This star cultivator's cultivation is only galaxy middle stage. Princess, although you are just galaxy early stage, handling him should not become a problem. Yan Qingtian's brows tightened, only feeling this star general was very egotistical. Suppressed by Princess Ling Yan's identity, Yan Qingtian did not act. Junqing, don't say it like that. Senior Yan is you province's #1 star cultivator. Princess Ling Yan, Zhaohan Yan, 14, gave a one-sided smile. Alright, then. Princess, since you've said as such, your servant indeed wants to move her muscles and bones. Junqing stretched her body, her nice curves extremely enticing. Zhao Hanyan nodded, then walked off the platform. Yan Qingtian wore a smile on his face, but his eyes already held a trace of ice-cold. Being able to cross fists with a star general from legend, this Yan has the blessings of 3 lifetimes. I wish you will not let this Yan be disappointed. Seeing this servant's identity, you definitely cannot be afraid. Junqing's smile was very arrogant. Hopping several small, quick steps, her 2 hands suddenly drew in the air. In her hands, rays of light glimmered, and 2 gorgeous spears appeared in her hand. The pair of spears measured half a zhang, their designs totally different. The left hand became a flying phoenix. Because of an indescribable crystal metal forging, it emitted an orange-red warm light, and the right hand became a soaring dragon wrapped in a ball of icy blue, cold, serene light. The 2 glinting stars on both the left and right spears flickered, resonating and reflecting, appearing to have an unimaginable condition of harmony. Yan Qingtian's expression changed, and the expressions of the other Yan elders that also had experience facing star generals changed as well. 2 star dragon and phoenix yin-yang spear. Saying that, don't be scared, finishing those words, her cloak flew upwards, and a majestic star energy threw itself over, earth-shattering. Junqing coldly smiled as she flew over. Yan Qingtian's seals rushed, and a flying swallow returns to nest sword art executed. 32 flying swallow brilliant light swords, imposing as a rainbow, forged ahead. The dragon and phoenix yin-yang clashed with it, and immediately, they had a swallow's cry, the sword light fell and withered. The disciples at the training grounds all looked stunned. Respectfully gifting the princess. The entire Yanzi castle saluted. Many thanks for Senior Yan's generosity. Han Yan will approve of Senior Yan with Father Emperor. Princess Ling Yan smiled. Yan Qingtian smiled bitterly, looking at the star maiden with some restrained fear. The Yan bit spirit sand indeed was an item every generation of the Yan clan meticulously passed down. If it was not for Princess Ling Yan's status, no matter how indiscriminately they would be destroyed, they would not bow and give way. Then many thanks for the princess' beautiful words. Her riding sword left the Yanzi castle. The other youngsters somewhat were reluctant to part, laying on the castle towers as they watched the 2 great beauties. Only until Yan Qingtian ferociously reprimanded them did they angrily restrain their minds. 30 liang of Yan bit spirit sand, these 4 months in Yu province finally were not a waste. Zhao Hanyan put away her spirit bag. Princess, you obviously did not have to go through this much trouble. Just be like your younger brother, directly take it from them just like that. Junqing disdainfully curled up the corner of her mouth. Zhao Hanyan snorted disdainfully, that idiot is damaging Father Emperor's reputation. Destabilizing the great Liang's foundations, he sooner or later shall pay the price. How much do we currently lack to refine to 3 stars? A 3-star destined weapon requires 10 liang of Yan bit spirit sand and 12 yin-yang pearls. Spirit sand is still off by 35 liang, yin-yang candles still short by 10. Good gracious, this princess heard that and actually is somewhat in despair. Princess Ling Yan bit her lip, already stirring up terrible thoughts. This moment, she was suddenly frozen. What? The red-garmented girl asked. A moment later, Princess Ling Yan showed a cold smile. Just now, the sect attendant used the thousandly sound transmission. Regarding the alliance of 10 kill warrant, there's been another new change. What do you guess happened? Without letting her think, Ling Yan replied, the Blooming Water Sword sect unexpectedly cancelled the alliance of 10 kill warrant to completely kill Lin Chang's master. Jun Qing furrowed her brow. Why, has Lin Chang's master died? Most probably, they felt the cost of issuing the kill warrant was too great, indeed a sword sect without future prospects. Zhao Hanyan was disgusted. Able to sign a contract with Lin Chong, he definitely has an extraordinary position. I fear he used some kind of method against the Blooming Water Sword sect. Jun Qing guessed. The majestic star Lin Chong, able to kill a galaxy cultivator dead, I really want to meet her quickly. Zhang Hanyan's eyes carried a trace of excitement to slaughter. This princess actually wants to see what sort of person Lin Chang's master is, and see how he compares to this princess. The sky suddenly lit up with a crimson star. The two people raised their hands, and looking, the sky already had 51 crimson stars rise into the sky. There was still one left until the birth outline commenced. Only one star, let's go to the divining star platform to inquire about becoming an outlaw. The sword light flit by and immediately traversed 1,000 li swiftly. And at this moment, Su Xing happened to be driving the wind-swayed raft rushing to the Great Liang. Several beautiful and lovely ladies also heard of the news of the Blooming Water Sword sect's cancellation of the alliance of 10 kill warrant, their period of fear overturned. 1. Right arrow curving left 2. Right arrow curving left 3. Right arrow curving left 4. Right arrow curving left 5. Don't know who this senior brother is. Right arrow curving left 6. Right arrow curving left 7. Right arrow curving left 8. Okay, so it or is it not red? Right arrow curving left 9. Right arrow curving left 10. Right arrow curving left 11. Right arrow curving left 12. Right arrow curving left 13. Now, is a way for couples to verbally express their affection to one another. This foreshadows what will happen between these two in a later chapter. Degree, right arrow curving left 14. Right arrow curving left 15. In response to their amazement, Su Xing smiled. I had sure Yuan give the Blooming Water Sword sect a letter to bear. A letter can make the Blooming Water Sword sect cancel the kill warrant? And Suan still felt this was awfully exaggerated. That depends on what you write in the letter. Su Xing chuckled. What did young master write? Wu Xinjie inquisitively asked. If the kill warrant is not cancelled, I will prepare to copy that Blooming Water Divine Thunder True Technique secret in its entirety and sell it by the hundreds upon thousands. Su Xing wore a crafty smile. Make their sex-guarded secret into a common street item, worthless. The girls were about to faint. This method was too shameless. Young master, you considered doing as much? And Suan smiled. Su Xing pursed his lips. He actually indeed had thought of this. However, the requirements to practice the Blooming Water Divine Thunder originally were very demanding. Besides letting the Blooming Water Sword sect's Blooming Water Divine Thunder ability be researched thoroughly, truly distributing it also completely lacked sense. Right now, Su Xing was currently practicing this, so he naturally could not bring trouble to himself. However, the Blooming Water Sword sect unexpectedly actually agreed. The Thief Star felt this sword school really did not have integrity. It was lucky that it was still one of the 4 great sword sects. The Knowledge Star wanted to understand the crux among this. The Blooming Water Sword sect issued the alliance of 10 kill warrant to kill 3 eagles with 1 arrow, so cancelling it or not cancelling it were both equally likely outcomes. Why do you say that? Su Xing smiled. The Thief Star flea on a drum was very powerless. She was not even able to clearly figure out one eagle, so how did the knowledge star have 3 eagles? Wu Xinjie explained, the first eagle, every person that issued the Alliance of 10 kill warrant knows young master's identity and the danger of a contracted majestic star. They should handle young master, and they naturally shall. If they did not deal with him, the kill warrant would be useless. The second eagle is to attempt to paralyze young master's countermeasures. Xinjie guesses the Blooming Water Sword sect is perhaps waiting in the dark for the chance that young master is careless. This third eagle, the third eagle is the sect's increasing weakness. Then, the other sects would increasingly become aware of the danger of Lin Chang's master. Some sects that possess star masters definitely would not sit idly. On the topic of the Blooming Water Sword sect, this moment, all the protectors and hall masters also were currently questioning the Taoist Luo River's decision to cancel the Alliance of 10 kill warrant, and it was no different from Wu Xinjie's guess. The Taoist Luo River's 1 arrow, 3 eagles, also made every star cultivator present blank for a day. Headmaster is amazing. With this, it virtually promotes Lin Chong to the highest danger. This indeed is more formidable than the Alliance of 10 kill warrant by far. The Taoist Luo River slightly smiled, carrying a trace of being pleased with himself. Ling Xian wrinkled her brow and said, but we'll let Lin Chong get away just like this? Of course not. This Taoist already secretly contacted several sects we have good relationships with. The sect's inner circle will not stop chasing after Lin Chang's whereabouts. Now we need to wait until the 2 ancestral masters exit seclusion. Seeing as how the birth outline is upon us, at that time, he will be humiliated. The Taoist Luo River coldly grunted. Not firmly beheading Lin Chong and her master, just how could the Blooming Water Sword sect swallow this down? How is the person at the Divining Star platform? The Taoist Luo River asked. The disciple hall master you brought has monitored it for 3 months now and has seen several star masters, but Lin Chong has not been sighted. Ling Xian replied. The divine physician is with him, pay attention for the change appearance pill. Do not be careless. Understood. I understand. Shi Yuan shouted in awe, it's hard to imagine the Blooming Water Sword sect was actually so malicious. Next time we run into that Blooming Water old Taoist, this young lady definitely will steal away that astral treasure. The thief star felt indignant. The group that bitterly cultivated for 3 months could be considered to have had their strength greatly swell. Su Xing's chaotic tail escape's highest 7 by 7, 49 layers of heaven had already reached the 36th layer of heaven. The chaotic tail escape flashed away 100 li. If he could not outmatch the enemy, at least he could still outrun them. However, Sister Xinjie is worthy of the name Knowledge Star, comprehending her dark rank battle technique this quickly. The thief star was envious. It was not that the 3 girls did not think of an even higher magic. It was just that to do this type of thing, innate skill and inspiration were needed. Often, they had to let nature run its course, they could not force it. Several hours later, following Wu Xinjie's guidance, they quickly arrived near the Divining Star platform. Su Xing first took a change appearance pill. Both Su Xing's own body and Zhou Sihai's identities and appearance had been compromised. This change appearance pill had passed through Ensuan's improvements, and the disguised appearance had also turned into an elegant and beautiful young man's look. If viewed solely from the outside, then he simply was a naive and traveling spoiled son. Looking at that gentle and pretty face in the mirror, Su Xing was not particularly fond of it. However, the change appearance pill's effects were originally not definite, so Su Xing not liking it could not be helped. Ensuan experimented with this change appearance pill for 3 months and only completed 2, which cost millions of liang. Ordinarily, it was used to complete risky public business to great effect, for example, this trip to the Divining Star platform. They believed the cultivators waiting for an opportunity were not few. We'll need to be careful in a moment. The Divining Star platform is a place star masters must go to. Within the surrounding 100 li, often there are people lying in wait, specifically recording the faces of Star Masters, waiting for an opportunity afterwards to kill them. Star Masters that previously died at the Divining Star platform, or because of it, were many. Wu Xinjie warned. In the star duels, the Divining Star platform could be said to be a double-edged sword of a crisis and opportunity both existing at the same time. Su Xing grunted in affirmation. When they entered within 100 li of the Divining Star platform, Su Xing sensed many concealed presences. Su Xing also broke through the second layer of the Divine Machine clan's great spread divine art within these 3 months, and the current divine layer was keen to say nothing of it. Even when his own divine intent swept over those Star Masters, they did not sense it. Only Nebula late-stage cultivators could slightly feel it. A moment later, the sounds of an intense battle in the forest attracted Su Xing and the rest's attention. They only saw countless flying swords like running water currently intertwined into an array beneath the trees, trapping its target within the array. The flying swords incessantly launched an entanglement attack, and 20 to 30 star cultivators very cautiously encircled around it to the side, continuously manipulating seals and flying swords. From time to time, several powerful artifacts flew out. Those star cultivators wore water blue apparel and were astonishingly the blooming water sword sect. Su Xing frowned. Staring at them, as a result of the 20 to 30 star cultivators' forms being very confused, a dazzling blue light was practically sheltered from view. He could vaguely make out that the one that had been trapped was a petite girl, and seeing that girl's sword swings, the pace of her footsteps, it seemed she was protecting something, not letting the blooming water sword sect disciples get close. That sword actually made Su Xing feel a shiver. Huge and hard, it was broadsword of approximately 2 meters, and the blood grooves on the sword blade were forged of dark iron, black and deep as hell, and when its whole body circled, the sword tip actually dispersed a concentrated crimson blood light, more red than even blood. It was red to the point that there was no way to stare at it. A first look would make people feel their entire body was ice cold, and it was unknown whether it was because of this magic sword that those star cultivators would launch an attack. Xinjie, what do you see with her? Su Xing said. Wu Xinjie nodded, starting her yellow rank magic think then act. That girl's military strength potential immediately floated before her eyes, and that dark-colored bloodlight's broadsword was revealed without doubt. Blood-drinking demon-killing sword. 2. The knowledge star went blank. She looked at Su Xing, somewhat not daring to believe. She is the savage star, god of death Bao Su. 3, 1. Right arrow curving left 2. Right arrow curving left 3. Ha, ha, do your best junior brothers. This star general soon will be ours. The blooming water sword sect saw that the savage star already was very weakened. Their killing intent abundant, repeatedly smiling, they completely did not detect in the sky 1,000 meters above them were people nearby snooping. Young Master Su Xing. Wu Xinjie aimed an inquisitive gaze at Su Xing. Su Xing did not have a shred of a good opinion towards the blooming water sword sect. Seeing those cultivators below derangedly besieging her was completely loathsome. Nodding his head, the wind-swayed raft quickly dived down. Su Xing threw a red gourd, the miniature gourd in the wind swelled in size multiple times. The red gourd flowed transparent talisman inscriptions. The gourd's red light condensed and was extremely bright. This was precisely the blood rain pot. Su Xing's current cultivation already entered Nebula late stage, and using this galaxy artifact was smooth and easy. The blood rain pot hung upside down in the air, its red brilliance spraying out like a torrential downpour. The blooming water sword sect cultivators beneath were about to enthusiastically attack, when suddenly they felt the sky above transmit bursts of pressure. Lifting their heads to look, their faces were like ash. The place that was nice to look at was full of scarlet rain. The star cultivators hastily raised every sort of defensive artifact and magic, but this blood rain pot was a galaxy stage artifact. The violently emerging rain of blood was thick as a feather pen, incomparably sharp. 100 red lights covered their surroundings, and there were miserable sounds again and again. Some cultivators even did not have time to prepare and just died. The savage star had already seen the rain of blood fall, and the blood-drinking demon-killing sword assumed a defensive posture at her chest. That 2-meter-long broadsword seemingly was like a shield. Crimson light flew around, enveloping her and the person she wanted to protect like a net of blood. The blood-drinking demon-killing sword and the blood rain pot appeared to engender one another as the blood light that flew over and fell on the net was sucked into it. A long time after, the more than 20 blooming water sword sect cultivators had more than half of their number dead. This one beneath you is the blooming water sword sect. Who are you people? Why did you sneak attack this school? A star cultivator who had the highest cultivation of galaxy early stage raised his head and saw the Su Xing on the boat, his expression changing. He only felt that the elegant and beautiful youth standing before the dragon's head had an indescribable evil intent and coldness. Even the pretty as flowers maids at his side were each out of the ordinary, and then he saw the star crests flickering on their foreheads. "You are, Hall Master," Yu loudly shouted. Without giving him the chance to speak, a freezing cold broke the wind, and Lin Chong threw herself into a leap and already swung down the Arctic Star Spear. Hall Master Yu, unfortunately, was Galaxy early stage. Both his hands successively flipped through seals, and an ice-blue water mirror blocked in front of him. More than a dozen talisman scripts flew out, melting in the air and violently dispersing a wide area of ice and snow blades. The remaining star cultivators also hastily fastened their flying swords and attacked towards Su Xing. The wind swayed raft flashed. These star cultivators were overwhelmed to see this. The opponent was then right before them, his speed excessively quick. "Have a taste of your blooming water divine thunder." Su Xing wrist flipped, and the blooming water divine thunder then burst forth from his palm. The more than 7 times refined blooming water divine thunder was like a long whip waved around by Su Xing. Thunderlight buzzed, and the divine thunder turned into water, not changing its non-solid state. This swept downwards, and 5 or 6 star cultivators suffered it head-on. Their seals broke off, their incantations stopped short, their whole bodies instantly paralyzed. The savage star also was not idle. Raising the blood-drinking demon-killing sword, she cleanly and nimbly killed as if she was cutting vegetables. Star cultivators that were farther away saw this beautiful young man was this violent, turning away in preparation to run. The moment they turned, they saw a black-colored skin-tight jumpsuit, fishnet stocking-wearing girl craftily look at them. Her hand pointed, and several tens of fierce beast-type mechanical beasts spat out a green light and extinguished them. Besides, that Hall Master Yu was not one of the blooming water sword sect's masters of a hall for nothing. After firmly resisting Lin Yingmei's Arctic Star Spear for several moves, even placing artifacts and talismans, Hall Master Yu seized the chance to use an escape technique. The speed of Lin Yingmei's dodging movement was even faster than his escape technique, and the Arctic Star Spear's tip was clear and present. A cold light slashed down towards Hall Master Yu's neck. Hall Master Yu struggled to throw out a talisman and could not change the Arctic Star Spear's trajectory. "Ah! This sect will definitely make mincemeat out of you all." After he spoke those words, this Galaxy early stage star cultivator died at Lin Yingmei's hands, unexpectedly without the slightest degree of strength of resistance. "Dream on, you!" Wu Xinjie sneered, suddenly reaching out her hand with her star energy like a fine thread. A sect intent transmission talisman was then burned to ashes. Wanting to advance secretly, a cheap trick to inform his sect in front of the knowledge star was a bit too naive. Several tens of minutes later, the blooming water sword sect was completely wiped out. Su Xing recalled his artifact, and threw out a ghost soul pearl. These abominable souls naturally could not be left behind. "You want to kill me?" A young and tender voice sounded. Only then did Su Xing and the girls go pay attention to that savage star. When they saw the savage star, they all stared blankly. The savage star god of death in the water margin was only the death god second after Li Kuei. Just looking at her name was enough to know that there was a verse that went, "Raise a broadsword to kill by fire." Bao Su's name is called the god of death. 2. But the savage star god of death before him was completely outside of Su Xing's imagination. The really not extremely frightening violent young girl was not licking blood, the bloodthirsty female devil of a massacre. If Su Xing had to use a feeling to describe the first feelings he had when he saw the savage star, then it would be cute. Quite cute. A pair of vivid and lively big eyes, delicate facial features, skin like snow, green clothes, petite and exquisite, any way he looked, she could not be more than 7 or 8 years old. Perhaps she had not even reached the young age where she had an awakening towards a first love. Even if that 2-meter broadsword in her hand was taller than herself and even more heavy, it was this incompatible blood-drinking demon-killing sword held by the girl that actually made people see nothing wrong. You are the savage star god of death. The beautiful ladies were flabbergasted. Sure, Yuan had wanted to shout out, elder sister, but seeing that small girl was this young, she really could not shout it out. The little girl's eyes carried a calm and caution that did not align with her age. Going by this, she indeed could be a star general. Sweeping her eyes, her gaze finally stopped squarely on Su Xing. Do you want to kill Xiaoyu? 3. Xiaoyu will not give up. Su Xing stared blankly, and they looked at each other in dismay. For him to kill like this truly was a very difficult matter. The savage star's expression was brimming with unwavering determination, without fear, definitely making Su Xing very impressed. Her age was very small, her imposing aura very excessive. Watching the little girl's movements that were like a mother cat protecting its child, Su Xing, Wu Xingjie and the rest's eyes glanced behind her. Unexpectedly, it was a little boy about the same size as her. He currently curled his body up in fear, hugging his head, frightened and stressed. Is he your friend? Su Xing, making his voice somewhat more gentle. The savage star acted as if her tail had been stepped on, her whole body stretched taut, her eyes more alert and cautious. Could he be your master? Wu Xingjie opened her mouth. The little lowly, 5, jolted, as if she had been set on fire, suddenly throwing herself forward. That immense blood-drinking demon-killing sword was just like Mount Tai as it advanced and cut towards Su Xing. Blood-red light was emitted from the sword blade, the boundless bloody light in an instant covering Su Xing and his beautiful ladies. Yellow rank tactic, long river of blood drinking. Su Xing remained unmoved. The Ling Mei who was already storing energy as they waited swung her spear with one hand, the forest of the spear points cold, white light shone from the spear's edge. Just like a ferocious beast, it cleanly engulfed the bloodlight, the spearhead instantly touching against the savage star's neck. Only a light was needed to return the little girl to the Yangshan maiden as a falling star. I beseech that you do not kill Xiaoyu. The all-along frightened boy abruptly shouted out. Authors note it appears to have hit the shelves. Pleading for a monthly vote. These 2 days will have an eruption. 1. Star Master in the Ross, obviously incorrect. Right arrow curving left 2. Poor me, can't make a verse. Right arrow curving left 3. Right arrow curving left 4. I guess it's a running gag that Wu Xingjie just has to open her big mouth. Right arrow curving left 5. LOL. It seems that young boy definitely was the savage star's master, without doubt. When he called out, each of their red star crests sparkled. I beseech that you do not hurt Xiaoyu. Although the boy was very afraid, he still wanted to do his utmost to protect her. Su Xing nodded to himself. At such a young age, yet he already having this spirit was already considered to be very good. If we wanted to kill you, we would not need this nonsense. Ling Mei icily asserted, withdrawing her spear. The savage star god of death bit her lip, recalling the blood-drinking demon-killing sword at the same time. Thank you. The little boy bowed his head. Why are you here? Su Xing asked, immediately answering himself, to go to the divining star platform. The little girl nodded, opening eyes of distrust. You really will not kill me? You don't offend me, I won't offend you. Su Xing smiled. The girl went, oh. Many people have been drawn here, let's leave first. Wu Xingjie looked around in all directions. Although this battle was very quick, it still alerted the star cultivator gangs within the surrounding few dozen li. If they ran into an ally of the blooming water sword sect, that indeed would be hard to say. The knowledge star asked the savage star, "We also were just about to go to the divining star platform. If you wish, come together with us. Walking over there, you are too audacious." The 100 li surrounding the divining star platform was known as the falling star graveyard. Every time the star duels commenced, many harbored sinister machinations as scattered star cultivators attempted to reach heaven in a single bound, too, by setting up ambushes in the surroundings and waiting for star masters to take the bait. If they were powerful, that was it. Leaving the stage with useless powers was unpleasant to say. These drifting scattered star cultivators also did not fear the Liangshan Maidens' retaliation. As far as they were concerned, using every kind of method to increase their strength was the most important. The little girl was still very cautious, however, her contracted master actually agreed without the slightest hesitation. The wind-swayed raft broke through into the sky, and the little boy looked at the 1,000 meters of sky, revealing an odd expression. Very quickly, he showed boyish excitement, pointing at the scenery below in high spirits with the savage star. The girl previously was still very vigilant, but very quickly, she was influenced by her master, revealing a brilliant smile. Su Xing sized up the two miners, completely baffled. The little boy wore a magnificent brocade, with a manner very appropriate. It seemed he came from an extraordinary family background, but his cultivation unexpectedly being Stardust early stage actually was a big surprise. And Suan at this time stepped forward and chatted with them. The efficacious star, the divine physician's warmth was like a cleansing spring breeze, very quickly making the two people sweetly cry out, "Elder sister, elder sister." On the road, Su Xing more or less understood their circumstances. The savage star god of death's true name was Bao Xiaoyu, 3, but she preferred others to call her Yuer. That small boy indeed was her master, surname Han, 5, given name Yu. 6. They did not state the reason why they signed a star duel covenant, but it could be seen the god of death Bao Xiaoyu defended her master with all her power. Yet, the young boy was somewhat shy. What were the star duels? He most probably did not know anything at all. The savage star was too bold. Her master's cultivation was only at Stardust late stage, yet she dared to come to the divining star platform to become an outlaw. Even the knowledge star was endlessly speechless. However, that blood-drinking demon-killing sword of the savage star was refined to 1 star. From that starlight's relative dimness, it was not refined with material the likes of relic blade sand. Still, it was rather outside of Su Xing's expectations, and it seemed this god of death of a little girl was completely an old Taoist. 7. During their hurry to the divining star platform, they also ran into many star cultivators. Seeing Su Xing surrounded by beauties, they thought he was some great clan's hedonistic son. In the star duels, this type of frivolous disciple was a very common sight, and these scattered star cultivators did not dare provoke them. The group was more scared than hurt when they very quickly saw the divining star platform. The divining star platform situated at the top of the divining star hilltop, 8, from afar looked to be a minaret-shaped odd building. Its entire body was a single stone obelisk, and with that pillar raised to the heavens, Maiden Mountain, they brought out the best in each other. 108 pillars of carved dragons and painted phoenixes surrounded the building's environment, numerous and close together. There was a sort of indescribable pattern. The divining star platform. An existence inseparably close and related to the star duels, no one knew just where it came from. Apparently, when the star duels began, it rose steeply from the ground. Conjectures about the divining star platform could not be considered very few. People only knew that inside was a mysterious star diviner calling herself Yen Poxi, 9, who knew from astronomy to geography. While others could not see through the orbits of stars, she could know all these by heart. Star masters relied on the star diviner to seek for where the token of becoming an outlaw that occupied an important position in the star duels fell. As far as this place was concerned, there also was not shortage of cultivators that wanted to pry into the bottom of the matter, but the majority all were stopped by the forbid dance at the outer 10 li. The red boundary was like an immense casing that covered a 10-li range around the divining star platform. Su Xing struck a star talisman, and the boundary gave rise to a ripple that immediately afterwards sucked the wind-swayed raft inside like a great, big mouth. Falling inside, a powerful pressure then forced Su Xing to drop the wind-swayed raft. It seemed this place had an aerial forbid dance. Su Xing lifted his head. The divining star platform towering to the highest peak was like a sword stabbed into the ground from the heavens. 1,008 layers of white stone stairs snaked and crisscrossed, like a crawling white dragon. Every sort of spirit beast, holy object and statue were set up on both ends, exceptionally spectacular. Seeing that tall and erect, reaching through the clouds flight of stairs, Wu Xinjie's head hurt. She had originally wanted to enter the star nest, but the savage star did not shrink back, making her rather embarrassed. 10. The divining star platform's ambience was solemn. They could not hear the sounds of birds, the chirps of insects. Turning their head around to look at the world outside the boundary, it had a fuzzy appearance. Walking for several hours, everyone only then ascended to the top. The divining star platform had 3 flights of steps, divided into the earthly fiend path, the heavenly spirit path, and the purple star path. Su Xing already fully understood the divining star platform's history from Wu Xinjie before coming. These 3 paths were the ranks of the token of becoming an outlaw star masters had to choose from. The effect of choosing token of becoming an outlaw that was a different grade was not at all the same. However, the higher the grade, the harder it was to obtain that token of becoming an outlaw, such that one could lose his life. In the past, there was a star master that contracted with Guansheng who chose the purple star grade token and fell. From then on, the purple star grade was regarded as legendary. Very few star masters dared to take the risk. The majority of star masters chose between earthly fiend and heavenly spirit. The savage star Little Lowly chose the most dependable earthly fiend path. Given Han Yu's cultivation, this earthly fiend path was facing a hazard. Wait a sec. Su Xing stopped them. Bao Xiaoyu turned her head, her eyes somewhat cautious. This is for you. Su Xing threw an astral bag stuffed with some items that he previously obtained from the Blooming Water Sword sect cultivators to her. Hold on to it, perhaps it will be useful. The savage star Bao Xiaoyu opened her eyes wide. You're giving this to Yuer? I don't have any use for it. Watch yourself. Su Xing looked at her adorable appearance. Her pure eyes, completely lacking blemishes, did not have a trace of a god of death's evil tendencies. Su Xing was only treating her as a little sister. Bao Xiaoyu's surprise was within his expectations. The star masters in between had only been mortal enemies. Even if there was peaceful contact, they would not give a thought to their counterparts. Little sister Yuer, just take it. Young master is truly worried about you too. And Suan just smiled. Thank you, big brother Su Xing. Han Yu shyly expressed his thanks. Bao Xiaoyu was blank for a moment, then spat out the 2 words of, thank you. When they set off on the earthly fiend path, Wu Xinjie then asked, Young master, if there really is a day that they become the enemy, what will young master do? I will never be stupid enough to let people come kill me. I'll shout loudly love and justice, world peace. Su Xing was helpless. The girls were amused by Su Xing's charming words. Which one will master choose now? Lin Yingmei asked at this time. Thinking for a bit, Su Xing looked towards the purple star path. Considering the abnormal phenomenon of his contracting multiple star generals, the token of becoming an outlaw naturally could not be skimpy. This one. Wu Xinjie and the rest did not have objections, hiding into the star nest. Walking past a corridor, he entered a bright room. Inside the room were not too many furniture. It was obvious from a glance that a woman wearing a hood sat in the middle of the room, hunching her back. A pair of dried up, thin hands currently flipped through cards on a table. Seeing Su Xing enter the room, the other party covered the cards and lifted her head. It was an aged face completely covered with wrinkles. That pair of eyes completely lacked anger, seemingly like ash. Su Xing was speechless. This was Yen Poxi. Su Xing inherited the knowledge star Wu Xinjie's seeing clearly cultivation. Regardless of the other party's degree of cultivation, he could easily see through it, but seeing Yen Poxi, she seemed to be wrapped in dense fog. No matter how he looked, he could not pierce through. The rumored star diviner was even more remarkable than a transforming star cultivator, and this did not seem fake. You also are preparing to choose the purple star grade? Yen Poxi's words were bleak, with neither sorrow nor joy, vaguely carrying a trace of a power that intimidated people. Su Xing noticed the also word she used to describe, inquisitively asking, "Are you saying that another has chosen the purple star?" It was not long ago, a good-looking woman entered Liangshan. Yen Poxi placed both her hands on the table, her drooping eyes also not looking at Su Xing. On that chrysanthemum pearl fragrance table, a complex patterned array was vividly engraving upon the table, gradually taking shape. Yen Poxi's voice was downcast. "Have you thought clearly? The purple star resides in the fight of heaven above. Only the Almighty can bring about its outcome. You have only one's chance. This servant knows it himself." Su Xing completely lacked fear. Yen Poxi grunted in affirmation, her mouth reading an incantation. The star art fluttered, and 7 colors of starlight appeared on her fingers that were like dead trees. He saw scripts pile one after another onto the table, like more and more flying cotton-white snow. A moment later, rays of light condensed, and now the table had upon it a purple pearl. "This purple star pearl, too, will let you enter Liangshan, but whether you can find the jade pendant will depend on your good luck. If you wish to escape the entrapment, pinch the purple star pearl to dust, and it shall be." Su Xing grabbed the purple star pearl. Faith in the Liangshan outlaw jade pendant, 3, immediately came pouring into his ocean of mind. Su Xing read the incantation, and the purple star pearl's purple light turned into a dense purple mist that shrouded him. In the blink of an eye, Su Xing completely disappeared before Yen Poxi's eyes. This time star duels apparently have a star master that cannot be ignored. Yen Poxi thought aloud, and flipping over the cards, on top was a star banner, mixing 7 stars. This was precisely that sworn 7 brothers. 5. The world fluctuated for a moment, and by the time Su Xing emerged, the surrounding scenery already had big changes. A dense field of spiritual power hit him in the face, and that spiritual power even did not have a thread nor a hair of impurity. These spiritual influences did not need to go through a tempering transformation and could be used to increase cultivation. "What is this place?" Su Xing was amazed. How did he get from the divining star platform to this other place in a split second? Lin Yingmei, Wu Xinjie, Shi Yuan, and Ensuan flashed out. Seeing these pure green hills and clear waters, 6, they were also briefly surprised. Ensuan flipped her wrist, and a green gemstone appeared. More than a dozen bread essence swallowing dragons cheerfully rushed out and devoured great mouthfuls of the world's spiritual energy. The purity of these spiritual influences was simply like a delicious treat. Liangshan continent's landscape was of verdant hills and limpid waters. 7. The air was clean, but compared to this place, it truly was not worth mentioning. He had only just stepped in. Su Xing then felt his star energy obtain a seemingly nourishing vigor. Using the blooming water divine thunder, it also was expanded several times compared to before. Su Xing threw the wind-swayed raft, and the group stepped aboard. The wind-swayed raft shot into the sky to size up this place below. One look frightened them. Only then did they discover, this world's mountains extended forever into the distance. The mountain's ancient trees reached high into the sky, its sheer cliffs and precipitous rock faces countless, and it had even more waterfalls crashing with a great noise. Among the mountain streams were many peaceful streams and springs, rare treasures and strange fruits, spirit beasts and spirit birds, bright and multicolored, the never before heard, and the never before seen. Above all, the mountains all were exceptionally tall, not to be outdone when compared to the Cache mountain range. In a radius of 100 li, the mountaintops that reached 1,000 zhang were innumerable. In particular, they did not know how many 10 millions of li faintly. There was a tall peak jutting straight into the horizon, seemingly linking heaven and earth together, appearing to be a gargantuan pillar from ancient times. This kind of scene. It made Su Xing seemingly arrive inside an immemorial prehistoric and primitive forest, especially the mountains linked to one another. Among them, there were countless caves and stone platforms. Some caves had beside them old pines coiled with one another, green all over, bamboos sprouting, orchids blooming, and the sea in the middle of this mountain was as glossy as a mirror, no wind and no waves, just an auspicious and peaceful plain. Could this be the star world? 8. Ling Mei knit her brow. The star world was also called the star unicorn world. 9. It was one of the 4 legendary worlds of legend. This star world was above Liangshan, and rumor had it that transforming stars of annihilation could peep into the void, and step into the star world. For example, this astral gemstone was an embryo of the star world, and the Liangshan Maidens star generals were even more thought of as their own star world and descended. However, these ways of speaking did not have any evidence. But, the sole thing that was certain was that the star unicorn world was far above Liangshan, in a separate world. If they truly came to the star world, that truly was desperately serious. I believe this should be the void Liangshan. 10. Wu Xinjie smiled. Void Liangshan. The group did not understand. I heard that star masters that take the outlaw writ plate will evade into the void Liangshan. Young master, that purple star pearl perhaps could explain things. Wu Xinjie said. Su Xing looked at the pearl in his hand, moving his divine intent. The purple star pearl's incantation entered into his mind, and he thereupon understood a few pieces of information pertaining to the writ plate. If it was as Wu Xinjie surmised, this place certainly was the void Liangshan. It was only a specialized place that tested whether or not the star master had the qualifications to take the writ plate. Surprisingly, it's only for the purpose of testing the star master to start leaving the void. This means cannot be average. Shi Yuan clicked her tongue several times. What do we do in order to obtain the writ plate? And Suan asked. This void Liangshan was without boundaries and endless, apparently far larger than the Azure Dragon territory. Searching for a tiny little writ plate undoubtedly was finding a needle in a haystack. In short, first examine the circumstances, then we'll see. Su Xing said. Just now Yen Poxi said that there was another star master that entered. Young master, we need to be more careful. The knowledge star told, I'm afraid that a star master that dared to enter the purple star grade is not simple. N. Su Xing controlled the wind-swayed raft to pass through this barren hill and cluster of mountains. He probably flew several 100,000 li and did not see a sign of human habitation. They apparently were the only existences in this world, truly a quiet fright. It's said this purple star grade is very powerful. It seems it merely is so. This young lady sees that this is a scam. Shi Yuan twitched her lips. Big brother, first rest for a bit. And Suan wiped away Su Xing's sweat for him. The void Liangshan's spiritual energy was simple, its vigorous energy also fierce. Controlling sword flight in normal times would consume even more star energy. Continuing this way was not a solution, and seeing a wide sea, the wind-swayed raft drew into the forest. Wu Xinjie held the purple star pearl, carefully analyzing this pearl, seeing whether or not it had the outlaw writ plate's profound theory. Shi Yuan volunteered to go scout out the surroundings, to see if she could find a dark cave and such. Relying on her excellent body techniques, even if she ran into the star master, she did not need to worry about being found. Ling Mei was in charge of standing guard, and Suan was training the essence-swallowing dragons. Everyone had assigned work, and Su Xing was not idle. The void Liangshan's environment was precisely a good opportunity to practice. Su Xing swallowed a blooming water cultivating origin pill and seized the chance to refine the blooming water divine thunder. The later refinements were increasingly difficult, Fortunately, the blooming water-cultivating origin pills had a godly effect. In a brief 3 months, he already could accomplish making shapes of the divine thunder. Several water thunder flowers hovered around Su Xing's body, each petal folding over, gathering and emitting water thunder. Compared with Ancestor Bailey's imitation flower's appearance, the shape already was increasingly similar. Only its power had a slight discrepancy. A smile flit across the corner of his mouth. Su Xing suddenly changed the direction of the star energy in his body, and saw the divine thunder flower produced by his divine intent abruptly appear as a magic purple cloud. A blue flower turned into a light purple, together with the blue water thunder and lightning also appearing purple. Su Xing continuously flipped through seals. The 4 water thunder flowers abruptly rotated at a rapid speed. The petals separated and withered in a flash, turning into 100 purple petals. These purple petals looked ordinary, but there was a faintly penetrating deep, cold star energy. Along with Su Xing pointing, the 100 petals leisurely and silently dispersed. The beautiful ladies saw this act and showed astounded expressions. Wu Xinjie praised, "Young master's purple star transforming qi, 11, is more and more practiced. I didn't expect this purple star transforming qi to have this use." Su Xing smiled. The purple star transforming qi was a technique obtained from Ancestor Bailey. It was originally meant to refine the Purple Dipper True Qi specially for refining the Big Dipper Earthly Fiend Purple Star 5 Elements Sword. However, the technique on it was extremely hard to understand and make sense of, a mystery in a mystery. Ancestor Bailey apparently did not fully grasp it. Luckily, Su Xing practiced the heart-like mirror absolute sincerity soul technique. Also simply entering the second layer realm, directly ignoring the complex night seal, this was somewhat of a fluke breakthrough. The purple star transforming qi altogether was divided into the 4 realms of transforming qi, True Dipper, Purple Fiend, East Approaches. 12. The first realm practiced qi was true qi becoming purple, as if cleansing a magic cloud. Using the magic purple cloud star of the ability, it added even more power. The second realm True Dipper was true qi if there was substance, which could be more effective than a flying sword. True qi could peel iron as if it was mud. The third realm Purple Fiend transformed it into the Purple Fiend's qi flame. Not only did it cleanse demons and burn impurities, it could be used to forge every kind of artifact as a supreme grade true flame more powerful than a Star General Starfire. The final realm East Approaches was not explained clearly in the book, but it definitely exceeded the imagination. It was a pity that the purple star transforming qi apparently was an extremely rare immemorial dark technique. 13. Connecting it together was more laborious than a snail. This still was the Su Xing that possessed the supreme grade soul technique heart-like mirror that only then had some progress, otherwise, practicing for decades would perhaps produce a difficult breakthrough to True Dipper. This immemorial secret technique truly was too abnormal. A moment afterwards, Su Xing abruptly blinked his eyes, glancing all around and stepped into the forest. "Shi Yuan, what's the matter?" Using sound transmission this mysteriously. Su Xing saw the sneaky thief star, smiling as he spoke. "Young master, I'll give you something good to look at." Shi Yuan craftily smiled. Su Xing did not understand. Shi Yuan had Su Xing enter the heaven and man condition, and immediately afterwards, the two slinked forward. Seeing the thief star this careful, Su Xing also did not dare to be careless, fully taking precautions. Passing through this forest was a sea. Su Xing was right in the middle of marveling it, when suddenly he heard a flattering as bone marrow, 14, tender moan come from the beachside. "Ah, incredible, Junqing, you're too amazing." The inarticulate ecstatic groan Su Xing heard made him spray some qi and blood. Shi Yuan made a sh sound, and the girl, completely red in the face, pulled Su Xing behind a slab of granite. "Ah, ah, ah, faster." 16. The bewitching moaning sound had become somewhat intense. Tilting his face to take a careful glance, Su Xing was stunned, his face heating up. He saw beside the beach 2 sheep-fat white jade women currently entangled together, like thin threads intertwined. Laying on top was a red-haired girl continuously shaking that gentle and beautiful delicate body. Squeezed underneath was a black-haired woman with her slender legs spread wide, both hands embracing the red-haired woman's neck. A bone-melting sound of ecstasy was produced out of that soft throat of hers. The two beauties' fair and graceful figures stroked each other, enjoying a place of extreme happiness. From time to time, their red lips wrapped in a kiss, their breasts grinding against each other. "Princess, does it feel good?" "Ah," the red-haired girl laughed evilly, her rubbing all the more frantic. The play of the pair of phoenixes before his eyes was too passionate. The Su Xing who was watching was beginning to unbearably stir. Couldn't these two women polishing mirrors be the star master that Yen Poxi spoke of? Su Xing thought. Su Xing. A charming shout like water sounded beside his ear. Red clouds flew across both of the thief star Shi Yuan's cheeks, now flushed with excitement. She clutched onto Su Xing's arm and passionately moved up, her tongue dancing against his. Su Xing at this time was on the alert about the sounds of the Star Master on one hand and sinking into Shi Yuan's passionate and hot kiss on the other. The two women polishing mirrors on the other side of the granite had reached their climax, and he only heard their deep panting and moans, the air like gossamer. At this moment, Shi Yuan also cried out, falling on Su Xing's chest. The thief star had not wanted it to, but it happened anyways, wordless and uncommunicative had unexpectedly broken. Not good. Su Xing's heart tightened, only hearing a fierce whiz. A burst of a gale blew over, and Su Xing promptly embraced Shi Yuan. Hastening his star energy, he flew backwards as he stabilized her figure. The strong winds and gales whistled, and the surrounding atmosphere had been blown, scattered and smashed. It produced a great boom that broke the air, transforming into 10 million small swords with sharp edges. Ripping open the air, they swept towards Su Xing randomly and crazily. Fortunately, Su Xing's reactions were swift enough. He made a thrilling escape. Ah! Shi Yuan sobered over as if she had been dunked over the head by a bowl of cold water. Who is the evil person that dares to be sneaky in this general surroundings? The red-haired woman stood on the granite, not caring in the slightest that anyone could catch a glimpse of her utterly naked body. The black-haired girl that had been pressed underneath her had also flashed to the side. These two people truly were outstanding. Shi Yuan's wordless and uncommunicative had only just broke, and they immediately discovered his whereabouts. If it was not for Su Xing already being on guard, this face-to-face meeting would have cost him dearly. However, the act before his eyes truly was charming and gentle. The two gorgeous women lived high and looked down, laying bare their white as snow skin and well-rounded figures. What should have stuck out indeed did stick out, what should have sunk in indeed did sink in. At the same time, there really was -1 point for too skinny, add 1 point for too fat. Especially with the drunken color to their faces from polishing mirrors a moment ago, their cheeks dizzily flushed. A man. They stared blankly, not expecting they would unexpectedly run into other people in the void Liangshan. Flipping her wrist, a multicolored light flashed and swiftly draped palace robes over her shoulders. The black-haired girl was resentful, hatefully saying, "Courting death." She did not say much, and the multicolored light poured in a stream as it pounced towards Su Xing. Su Xing reached his hand out and waved. Purple thunder forged ahead and slammed into it head-on. Thunderlight flashed, taking the shape of a large net that covered this multicolored light. This girl was precisely Princess Ling Yan, Zhao Han Yan. She pointed her hand seals, and a jade ring artifact swelled without warning. The jade ring emitted a halo of dark and light. The technique incantation circulated, drawing a starlight that covered towards Su Xing. Su Xing opened his mouth. In a split second, more than a dozen rock-piercing water drops flew out. These rock-piercing water droplets were wrapped around a dense purple cloud, making for a substance that could not be seen through by anyone. The purple light swayed and repelled the jade ring. At the same time, 6 purple-colored thunder water flower purple smokes hovered around, flashing in the air. The petals scattered everywhere, then dissipated in the air. The atmosphere immediately filled with a dull purple cold light. Zhao Hanyan promptly struck a seal. The cold light in the air directly launched and broke Su Xing's blooming water divine thunder, but not really. These mingling divine thunders of the purple cloud had detonated silently, making Zhao Hanyan eat a hidden loss. Retreating a few steps, Princess Ling Yan was secretly startled. What was the purple thunder this star master used? It was unprecedented. Which sect are you? Princess Ling Yan calmed her state of mind. Raising a white finger, she grasped a sword in her hand. Su Xing discovered his own artifacts were rather destitute as a dark blue flying sword appeared. His divine intent suddenly tightened. The red-haired woman charged at Su Xing seemingly like a fiery dragon, chopping at him. Her speed was surprisingly fast enough that he was unable to react, but Su Xing did not change his expression. Without a bit of fear, as if replying his thoughts, an ice-cold woman's figure flew out from behind him like cold smoke and quickly blocked in front of Su Xing. Her speed compared to the red-haired woman's was also not inferior in any respect. A cold star swept past, and the crisp sound of steel clashing sounded. This red and white slammed into each other, and in an instant, a formidable power like a tsunami spread, such that Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan had no choice but to be shaken backwards several steps. The intruder was precisely Lin Yingmei. Lin Yingmei chopped with her spear, and that red-haired woman's odd yin-yang double spear showed off a hot and cold double hue. The double spears met and caught Lin Yingmei's vertical slash. Lin Yingmei grunted, and brought down the spear. The woman's double spears interlocked, her power not inferior in any respect. Her weapon's star energy released 100 cold lights that merged and separated the two people. Young master, what has happened? Wu Xinjie and Ensuan hurried over when they received the news. They could not help but suffer a fright from the play before them. Majestic star Lin Chong. The red-haired girl stared directly at Lin Yingmei. Seeing that Arctic star spear, her expression changed. When she saw that the star crest on Lin Yingmei's forehead and Su Xing's reflected each other, not only was she unafraid, but on the contrary, she revealed an excited smile. Ha, 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 I did not expect to run into you here, this really is too great. The girl's hands held her double spears, a soaring dragon and a flying phoenix, vivid and lifelike. Zhao Hanyan lost her voice. What? Lin Chong? You are Lin Chong's master. That purple thunder monster. Princess Ling Yan stared at the handsome youth before her eyes. For a while, she was incapable of believing this superficial hedonist surprisingly could contract the majestic star panther head. Recalling that bizarre purple-colored thunder technique just now, it actually resembled the rumored purple thunder monster. To think this was the star cultivator that killed a supercluster cultivator. Although his cultivation appeared to be no more than nebula late stage, Princess Ling Yan also took precautions with rapt attention. Wu Xinjie saw that dragon and phoenix yin-yang spear, her expression also solemn. The steadfast star general of double spears Dong Ping. 2. She did not expect that the one who entered Liangshan was the steadfast star, one of the Liangshan Maidens' 5 tiger generals, so to speak. That young girl dressed in hazy palace dress was the current Princess Ling Yan. Wu Xinjie also felt this was a thorny problem. The Liang Emperor's military glory shook Liangshan. How could his daughter ever be easy to deal with? Ha, ha. Lin Chong, I did not expect you to acquaint yourself with a man that liked philandering. You truly have made this general very disappointed. The steadfast star Dong Junqing revealed a trace of a giddy and enchanting smile, her manner and movement all carried distinguish and accomplishment. She looked at the other 3 beautiful ladies, red ripples moving in her eyes. Surprisingly, you're with 3 beautiful maidens. That is indeed pitiful. It would be better to let this general have a taste. She only took these Wu Xinjie and the rest following Su Xing to be ordinary star generals, not expecting they had signed contracts with Su Xing, general of double spears Dong Ping. Su Xing also knew her reputation. Seeing the dragon and phoenix yin-yang spears unexpectedly was 2 stars, he thought that this was not too encouraging. Junqing, You must gouge out this man's dog eyes. Princess Ling Yan's body had been seen by Su Xing, and he also saw her romance with Dong Junqing. From the bottom of her heart rose a thick killing intent. Humph. Lin Yingmei's expression was ice cold as she raised up her spear. Sister, let's play nicely. Dong Junqing smiled maliciously, the crisscross dragon and phoenix yin-yang spears chopped. The two kinds of different colored light blocked in front of her. The Arctic Star spear broke through, and the ball of cold chi wrapped around the spear tip thrusted towards Dong Junqing. The two slender yin and yang double spears subsequently were raised, the spear lights mutually tearing at each other. As if leveling the ground, a thunderclap exploded, and the Arctic Star spear suddenly split open a sudden snowfall. As if the wind and snow twisting around the spear edge was a completely outgoing devil, the frightening pressure instantly launched towards the surroundings, and the Steadfast star approaching her like this immediately turned into the first sacrificial victim. Like a shooting star, she had been touched by the terrible pressure and was ruthlessly sent flying. The wind and snow of the first spear was only a greeting. The second spear, the weapon's tip already became like a blizzard with that intensity. Inside the intense snowstorm, the long spear rapidly pulsed. The ice-cold blizzard's killing intent seemingly appeared in a flash, continuously attacking the Steadfast star. Where the two dueled, several li of the place was frozen over in a flash with an unceasing northern mournful whistle. Everywhere had been covered by ice fragments burst and shot flying by the aura of death. Behind the blizzard shooting everywhere, the cold light in Lin Yingmei's eyes violently fired. Suddenly, both hands grasped her spear, and her spread eagle figure instantly concentrated above the spear in her hands. White and white fused together, twisting together, a strange product and a harmonious blend, emitting an intimidating killing air. At the same time a long whistle cried out, the majestic star's final attack, seemingly like a meteor, passed by, carrying a tyrannical might that suddenly chopped towards two spears. The violent snowfall added even more ferocity. Impressive it was. Yellow rank spear technique, long blizzard nights. Originally, long blizzard nights critically needed to slowly layer killing intent in succession, finally forming an impossible-to-resist snowstorm. However, knowing Dong Junqing's status as one of the 5 tiger generals, that her star weapon was even a 2-star, how could Lin Yingmei dare be slow? The long blizzard nights between these spears was still dreadful. Interesting. Dong Junqing was moved, snapping her jaw, no longer that calm and collected like before. The dragon and phoenix yin-yang spear protected her side. They saw her star crest flicker, her hair flutter. 2 bright stars glittered abnormally on the left and right, the 2 yin-yang earrings suddenly emitting light. This one yin and one yang looped beside her, forming a barrier. Her entire surroundings seemed to have been frozen in time. Surprisingly, it was an astral tool. 3. Star maidens could not use artifacts and magic weapons but could use the astral treasures that fell from stars that dropped from the heavens, and astral tools were born in this environment. Using fallen star fragments to forge astral tools naturally could not compare to an astral treasure. Their life expectancies were also very limited, but it was still a trump card in a star general's fighting strength. In previous star duels, a few earthly stars and under subdued and killed heavenly stars, seemingly often seeing star tools and the like. However, this type of astral tool like an astral treasure was extremely rare to see. This Princess Ling Yan was the great Liang Emperor's kin, so having this was not strange. Long blizzard nights chopped upon the yin-yang halo. A frightening and violent snowstorm filled a range of 100 meters with a biting cold wind. The formidable power on the spear forced the Steadfast star continuously backwards rapidly. Su Xing started his star crest, matching Lin Yingmei's long blizzard nights and imbuing it with star energy. On the other hand, he was not lazy about Princess Ling Yan, controlling his sword to move, it rushed towards Xiao Hanyan's bullying body. Wu Xinjie already sound transmitted the dangers of this time's star master. The Steadfast Star General of Double Steers Dong Ping and Lin Yingmei alike were classified as the Liangshan Maidens' 5 Tiger Generals. Their strength absolutely could not be mentioned on equal terms as an earthly star. Especially when their star weapon reached 2, perhaps Lin Yingmei could not take down the Steadfast star. The resourceful star Wu Yong had Su Xing dispose of Princess Ling Yan as quickly as possible to give Lin Chong some relief from her pressure. Star cultivators were very much averse to close quarters. This also was one of the reasons many star cultivators most feared star generals with military force. Inheriting the majestic star's seal, Su Xing had superiority in close quarters, but Princess Ling Yan was an expert at every sort of thing. Urging on her seals, a golden flying sword twisted towards Su Xing for the kill. Simultaneously, her white hand flexed, and 5 golden rays of light escaped from her palm. Su Xing's flying sword was incited, tangling together with the golden flying sword in a duel. When the 5 golden lights shot over, he used the blooming water divine thunder to block it. Molten Halo, 5, bind. Zhao Hanyan shouted, and the jade rings from before flashed without warning, covering towards Su Xing to capture him. Su Xing silently screamed, "This difficult woman," clenching his 5 fingers. An odd purple heavenly thunder carrying fire struck towards Zhao Hanyan. Shi Yuan also did not sit and wait for death. Releasing more than 50 mechanical beasts for support, converting these mechanisms to star cultivators' cultivations, they were equivalent to Stardust's late stage. They were unable to cause harm to the Steadfast star and Princess Ling Yan, but even ants in great numbers could bite an elephant to death, thus bringing relief to the pressure on Lin Yingmei. The Steadfast star Dongping sitting at the 15th seat herself was a Liangshan 5 tiger. In terms of military strength, she was only slightly inferior to Lin Chong, however, now that her destined star weapon reached 2 star, she completely held the upper hand. And Suwen waved her outstretched hand wanting to use the essence-swallowing dragons to enter the battle, but Wu Xinjie hurriedly stopped her. Only when the essence-swallowing dragons numbered above 100 could there be a visible effect. If the several dozen were extinguished by a wave of Zhao Hanyan's hand, then that was too grievous. But do we just watch Big Brother Su Xing? And Suwen's expression tightened. The knowledge star was silent. They as star generals lacked military force and magic, and in a battle, they basically lacked the power to make a statement. In previous star duels, support-type star generals mostly stood behind their contractors, and the majority carried out assistance according to their own personal strengths. It could not be said that rushing forth would have any sort of advantage. On the contrary, it was somewhat superfluous. However, Wu Xinjie was not yet resigned. Wrinkling her brow, she then said, "I have a solution. Suwen, in a moment, replenish my spiritual power." And Suwen clearly understood. The knowledge star took out the heaven-concealing star feather fan. She aimed between Su Xing and Lin Yingmei, and then the fan released a vast stretch of green light. Moving seals, a clump of breath as light as a wing enveloped Su Xing and Lin Yingmei. Su Xing only felt the air in his body get drawn out completely, and subsequently, be replaced by a gentle breath. His body seemed to have lost its weight, and his speed suddenly jumped a level compared to before. After Zhao Hanyan blocked Su Xing's firebolt sword, she saw Su Xing move. His figure before her eyes dazzled, and she lost track of him. He then appeared behind her. This kind of speed made Zhao Hanyan stunned. Su Xing slashed down with the flying sword grasped in his hand. Princess Ling Yan did not panic. Her fingers pinched together into a hand seal, and a multicolored light leaked from her hairpin, shrouding her within. It was like the 7-colored light gave Zhao Hanyan a layer of an illusory plumage robe, too, to drape herself in. It was impervious to sword and spear, invulnerable to water and fire. Worthy of being called the great Liang's first princess, the treasures on her person truly were many. This sudden surprise attack of Su Xing returned without any achievements. Princess Ling Yan's white fingers danced, and the golden blade raised in her hand went to separate Su Xing. She looked at Wu Xinjie and shouted inconceivably, "Surprisingly, it's a dark rank tactic." "Unexpectedly, you're the knowledge star," the knowledge star acting as the Liangshan Maiden's third seat naturally had her original place. Besides being exceedingly resourceful, she was the champion in understanding the specialties of the 108 stars. Generally speaking, star generals could only comprehend their dark rank tactics approximately at the third stage, 3, Evil Smiting Hall, but the first stage was sufficient for the knowledge star. Acting as the strategic star general in a war, the knowledge star's magic was sufficient enough to reverse the course of the war. In addition, the magic Wu Xinjie used just now on Su Xing and Lin Yingmei was precisely the knowledge star's dark rank tactic. Speed is a crucial asset in war. It could substantially promote speed for a short time, although it was from the current perspective. Due to the restriction of Su Xing's grade, as well as the signing of multiple star generals, his star energy's growth was hindered, but the knowledge star still extremely quickly understood her dark rank tactic. Once speed is a crucial asset in war was activated, Su Xing and Lin Yingmei far exceeded their opponents in terms of speed. Dong Juanqing's 2-star weapon's strength occupied the winning position, but after Lin Yingmei's speed increased, she could only fight to a stalemate, causing the general of double spears to become exceedingly angry. You all also prepare. After using a dark rank tactic, Wu Xinjie greatly injured her vitality. And Suan then used a spiritual aura distribution to replenish her. A moment later, Wu Xinjie used once again. Speed is a crucial asset in war, adding it to Suan and Shi Yuan. The two girls understood tacitly what to do. Shouting, they each released child and mother-linked heart's needles and hoodwinking claws. Even though they were not military force generals, a 1-star, child and mother-linked heart's needles, and hoodwinking claws, more or less also could help out. Princess Ling Yan alternated her artifacts and magics. Even if their situation did not change under the speed is a crucial asset in war, she was not at all confused. From the bottom of her heart, she was actually slightly regretful that she was too quick to fight. She basically was incapable of covering up her handsome and wonderful bodily beauty. Along with her intense movements, the light muslin fluttered, her lapel opening wide, and those full and towering breasts from time to time spilled out dazzling ripples, the dark red points completely exposed. 5. The cold wind pouring into her secret place made her shiver. This kind of just faintly discernible was truly alluring. If it was any other man, perhaps he would have already been made capricious by this charming appearance of Princess Ling Yan, unintentionally continuing to zealously fight. However, due to Su Xing's nature as a soldier, having also practiced the absolute sincerity soul technique, once he was serious, that remarkably beautiful naked girl in front of his eyes was but only a pink human skeleton and nothing more. Absolutely unambiguously acting, he did not have tender feelings for her in the slightest. Princess Ling Yan's complexion was crimson, yet it was too late to look after her appearance. However, seeing Su Xing's indifferent manner made her heart somewhat mysteriously resentful. Compared with Princess Ling Yan's heart, there was still a trace of a young girl's aloofness and jealous love. The steadfast star general of double spears Dong Junqing did not have that many thoughts. Equally only wearing a thin red shirt, her face had earlier already lost its previous giddy expression. For star generals acting together saw her put in an extremely grave situation, and Lin Yingmei's superb body techniques under speed is a crucial asset of war made her 2-star weapon's superiority completely unable to manifest. More than a dozen green lights shot over whistling. Dong Junqing yelled in a rage, one spear splitting them open, and the other Yang Dragon spear blocked Lin Yingmei's attack. Suddenly flipping both hands, the one Yin and one Yang engulfed her entire body. The dragon and phoenix yin yang spears light violently swelled, sticking into their eyes and blinding them. Look out! It's the steadfast star's yellow rank spear technique. Wu Xinjie loudly warned. Lin Yingmei retreated, clutching her spear and adopting a defensive posture. Dong Junqing loudly laughed. Raising the dragon phoenix yin-yang spear, an orange-red and a freezing cold spear light flew out from the spears, breaking down into a half-moon, expansively and violently killing over. Just like a blade edge that shattered into countless shards, tearing their ears, uneasily shaking, just like a frightful downpour. The two kinds of different colored spear lights mutually folded over, matching dazzling that covered downwards. Not only Lin Yingmei, but also Wu Xinjie, and Suan and Shi Yuan all were enveloped by the spear light. The Steadfast star's yellow rank style. 6. Yin-Yang cross/. 7. The Yin-Yang cross/ used by the two-star dragon and phoenix Yin-Yang spear was fierce, nearly a power that poured down and overcame all obstacles. A huge ripping noise of the entire void Liangshan penetrated 100 li, shaking the mountain streams and deep valleys, and the tranquil sea's surface was a mess. Shi Yuan promptly called the more than 50 only just cultivated mechanical beasts to defend in front of her, and they were instantly annihilated without the slightest degree of resistance. Wu Xinjie threw out 100 low-grade talismans and a middle-grade, first seen like water talisman. The low-grade talismans had not even activated when the spear light cut and turned them into smoke that vanished into thin air. Although the first seen like water talisman manifested a water curtain when used, it only sustained for a mere few seconds before being broken. And Suan threw out a golden pill, and the pill turned into a golden river, now producing an extraordinary power. It was just that the 5 tiger generals Dongping's Yin-Yang cross/ was really valiant, also making her experience the might of a 2-star weapon. The defending Golden River resisted for a few seconds longer than the first seen like water talisman before being shattered. The spear light's expanse was an impossible to resist force that fell towards them. If this went on, if they did not die, they would only be barely alive. And just at this moment, a silhouette of unwavering determination suddenly blocked in front of the girls. Su Xing abandoned his opponent, Zhao Hanyan, and tossing out a jade barrier, the jade annulus penetrated, its immortal light unfolding. This astral treasure, profound star barrier, on more than one occasion let Su Xing come back from death's door. Its star energy after saving for 3 months had somewhat replenished, and it did not disappoint Su Xing. A white light like snow resembling a ribbon blocked in front of them, and the Yin-Yang spear light fell into the white light, immediately disappearing with no hope of return without giving rise to the slightest ripple. Cleanly absorbing the spear light, the profound star barrier went cassier. The fully occupied jade annulus split open a crack. Although it blocked this Yin-Yang cross/, an astral treasure suffered critical damage. Yingmei. Su Xing was even more worried about Lin Yingmei. The spear light scattered forth. Lin Yingmei was covered all over with cuts and bruises, more grave than any other time before. Luckily, she removed the Yin-Yang cross/'s most fierce parts of power, otherwise, if things went on as they just did, the method that Wu Xinjie and the rest used simply were incapable of delaying until Su Xing rushed over. Dong Junqing continually panted, her chest violently heaving, her vitality having suffered damage. A heavenly star general, particularly the kind that of 5 tiger generals was, could continuously use their yellow rank style far unlike an earthly star. Although Lin Yingmei was bruised, her willpower very tenacious. The Arctic star spear thrusted towards Dong Junqing. Princess! Dong Junqing shouted. The Princess Ling Yan, who had already been stunned by Su Xing, immediately returned to her senses. After all, she was the great Liang's first princess. Regardless of the background of a star master, strength could place her within the first 5. A galaxy stage magic energy inside her flowed continually at great speed. Zhao Hanyan knew she had run into a formidable star master, and she did not dare to treat him lightly. Shouting, her 10 fingers formed seals. They only saw the empty space behind the girl suddenly glimpse a cold light. They saw 18 golden lights flashing sharp blades penetrate the space. Floating in Zhao Hanyan's current surroundings, they formed an illusory sword array, the girl just like an immortal. Not good, it's the 72 outer void flying deities sword. Wu Xinjie shouted on reflex. The 72 outer void flying deities was the true immortal Hall's soul sword art. 72 flying swords with myriad transformations formed a sword array that was beyond the deities of the 9 heavens. Gracefully attacking the enemy, thus was it called the outer void flying deities sword. Originally, Emperor Liang relied on this 72 outer void flying deity's sword style at the pinnacle of perfection to entirely kill Bian City's great aristocratic clans. Its power shook Liangshan. The sword art's power was continually Liangshan continent's outstanding and famous #1 ability. To turn into a domineering overlord someday, this sword art was a required course. Its might far surpassed magic weapons continuously taken by star cultivators to be their own life weapons. However, only those with the resembling water star energy, 9, that was close to galaxy stage could warmly nurture several dozen flying swords in their body. Seeing that Zhao Hanyan unexpectedly inherited Liang Huizong's sword art, it was lucky she was only galaxy early stage. For the 72 outer void flying deity's sword, she only could nurture 8 outer void flying swords. If she could use 72, Su Xing would not need to fight any further, directly running away would be it. Even so, she did not dare to be the slightest bit careless. Su Xing still did not have a sword art's power, and the only thing he had that could contend was the blooming water divine thunder. Urging his magic energy, he used all of his star energy without the slightest hesitation. The blooming water divine thunder into an equivalent 8 purple clouds of hovering flowers. Of auspicious thunder and purple mist, it emitted and took in thunder light. Evil villain, accept death. Zhao Hanyan coldly shouted. Zhao Hanyan's flying swords ability indeed were far more powerful than artifacts and magic weapons. The 8 golden flying swords all were forged from the extreme winding essence gold, 10, that what was poured in was dark yang sand, 11, only the sword of royal family of the great Liang could have this scale. Its point was unblockable, and the 8 flying swords became several dozen golden lights. They saw the golden threads in the air turn into a line, and among them, 4 golden lights shot towards Lin Yingmei. The remaining 4 targeted Su Xing also shouted, moving his fingers. The 8 purple thunder flowers blocked towards the flying swords. Every 2 purple thunder flowers went to block 1 golden sword. The outer void flying deity's golden swords were powerful, and linking up with the divine thunder in a flash, the purple thunder surged forward, like an electric snake, a fiery beast, that bit onto the outer void flying deity's sword. The 8 purple flower divine thunders were just able to stop the 4 golden swords. Su Xing's throat rolled over and over with qi and blood. The entirety of his star energy urged all at once was only barely able to control Zhao Hanyan's flying swords. Princess Ling Yan's face was grim, and stepping her foot on a flying sword, she urged on her seals. The other 4 golden swords and Lin Yingmei intertwined into a single piece. The Arctic Star Serpent Spear was even stronger than the flying swords of extreme winding essence gold, and in addition to Zhao Hanyan's 72 outer void flying deity's sword art being only at the initial stages, Lin Yingmei could not be caught. The Steadfast Star General of Double Spears restored a bit of her breath, and now, raised the double spears and stabbed towards Su Xing 10 shiny as silver flying needles suddenly flashed before her eyes. Dong Juanqing's spears blocked them, and then 2 gorgeous flying claws pounced from the side, obstructing her attack from proceeding another step. Although the Thief Star's military force was average, how could she let Dong Juanqing seize the chance to harm her master? Relying on speed is a crucial asset in war, her body techniques were even faster to the peak, and her randomly disappearing and appearing flying claws made Dong Juanqing repeatedly ward off the attacks. Under the flying needles and flying claws, Dong Juanqing unexpectedly was unable to make a breakthrough. One star child and mother linked heart's needles and hoodwinking flying claws. Dong Juanqing was stunned, opening her eyes wide. You are the efficacious star in Daoquan, the thief star Shi Qian as well as the knowledge star Wu Yong. The steadfast star was dumbfounded. She disbelievingly gazed at the man barely holding off Zhao Hanyan's flying swords. The skill that handsome man displayed was actually unusually good. For a Nebula late stage to be able to contend against the Galaxy early stage Princess Ling Yan, especially with that time he dashed forward without regard to his own personal safety to block and protect in front of them, made Dong Juanqing have profound impressions of him. She then giggled, no wonder he could make you 3 dead set on following him. It seems this man actually has some merit. Wu Xinjie did not bluntly point out her mistake. This kind of matter of Su Xing signing 4-star maidens absolutely could not be revealed, otherwise it was possible he would become the Yangshan star duel's first and foremost objective to root out. The knowledge star could make her sisters lower their posture, prevent their star crests from shining. Steadfast star, I feel we had better withdraw. Wu Xinjie coldly said. Do not forget this place is the purple star Great Void Liangshan. Our goal is not to battle, but instead to find the outlaw pendant, the place where it is hidden, isn't that right? Dong Junqing licked her lips, declining to comment on the knowledge star's words. To have 4-star generals follow him around, killing him is not a bad thing. You think you can handle the 4 of us? The knowledge star coldly smiled. Master could make we 4 sisters serve him regardless of status. You feel that merely this much will make us dead set? Master has no intention of fighting for Maiden Mountain at all, so that is why he does not strike a killing blow. We originally were the Yangshan maiden sisters, and Master does not want to see us massacre each other. Dong Juanqing's expression flashed pure radiance, actually smiling. The resourceful star Wu Yong, I know you are full of stratagems, and your graceful words and flowery speech will not fool this general. If you pulled back now, it might actually work, as long as a few sisters are willing to be gentle and soft with this general for a round. 2. Cease superfluous words with her. Lin Yingmei said coldly. The Arctic star's spear cut open the 4 golden edges, and the spear tip turned around and attacked. That is the enemy, kill without pardon. Indeed, that is the enemy, kill without pardon. Sister Lin Chong, then we'll be tender with each other first. Dong Junqing evilly smiled as her double spears forged ahead. Attacking, that was called sad beyond words. Just which sect do you pay respects to? Zhao Hanyan said at this moment. She had already been shaken up by Su Xing's unending stream of star energy. Even if her continuous and unending galaxy star energy was rapidly depleting, the opponent before her that relied on Nebula stage and could lock with her in a stalemate for so long really was unimaginable, especially the 8 purple divine thunder flowers formed by his divine intent. It somewhat resembled the blooming water divine thunder, but it was far more brilliant than the blooming water divine thunder. Her outer void flying deities' swords were unexpectedly incapable of breaking through those auspicious purple clouds. Zhao Hanyan did not know at all that Su Xing contracted 4-star generals. That his star energy and divine intent could be this powerful was only because of this. She only took him to be a star master that was supported by some great sect, that he had a secret technique, a secret art or a secret treasure, otherwise Su Xing's performance truly far exceeded that of a nebula stage. Recalling the rumor he plundered and killed a supercluster cultivator, Zhao Hanyan still snorted disdainfully. Currently, it seemed certainly possible, and vaguely, she somewhat believed in the words Wu Xinjie said. This was the first time she felt pressure. Zhao Hanyan dissolved that pressure, and assembling together the 8 outer void flying deities' swords, she formed a small-scale sword array to execute Su Xing. And at this moment, the pair of powerful and vast battles finally gave rise to a shaking of the void Liangshan. Suddenly, a hissing weep sounded in the sky, just like an infant that had been woken by noise would cry. It brimmed with a strange and evil cold, a crying howl that seemingly possessed a magic energy that disturbed a person's soul to no peace, a stabbing pain of divine intent. Su Xing, Zhao Hanyan, and the rest one by one received a splitting headache, halting their techniques. Their gazes searched for the place of the source of the sound, and they again heard the eruption of an infant's crying howl. The seawater admirably soared up, and a massive whirlpool rushed straight towards the shore. The surrounding mountain forest and the beach were dashed by the water into a broken and disordered state. They saw a tall as several dozen zhang massive creature rush out of the water. The creature was long and extremely ugly and monstrous, with a full mouth of sharp and bloody teeth embedded in an infant's sort of face. Presently, because of the massive creature's ruthless and brimming with ferocity look, its unceasing wailing noise, its 4 pairs of eyes on both sides, its entire body slimy without scales, it straightened its upper body. In its claws, One hand held a sword, the other a shield, and one look told these were not ordinary items. 3. It's a crying infant. Wu Xinjie launched her think then act, and immediately was hoarse. The crying infant, a prehistoric 6th rank demon beast, resided underneath the deep sea. It was fond of good sleep, and in the case it was woken up, it would issue an infant's cry like a demonic owl. Thus, did it receive the name, crying infant. How could the void Liangshan have this kind of demon beast? The purple star pearl has a reaction. Could it be that we have to kill it in order to get the jade pendant? Su Xing looked at the glowing purple star pearl. It slightly changed. Zhao Hanyan also saw her own pearl suddenly flash. The other girls were dumbfounded. Kill the prehistoric demon beast crying infant. This purple star rank was too exaggerated. The crying infant certainly would not give them the chance to ponder. Pointing its long sword, a green light shot out, and the sea waters slowly parted. Zhao Hanyan promptly raised the outer void flying deity's sword array to block it, and only heard a ripping sound before the sword array unexpectedly broke. Fortunately, it was forged from extreme winding essence gold. In this instance, the flying swords did not immediately break but withstood for a few seconds. Among them, one actually was not lightly damaged. Zhao Hanyan received the shock, vomiting a mouthful of dark red blood. She felt as if her heart was cut out. This princess, golden deity. 5. The crying infant's heaven sword and earth shield, 6, are both considered ancient lost treasures, 7, so be careful. Wu Xinjie hastily said. The crying infant moved about its serpentine body, turning in an instant to rush at them from the front, the heaven sword heavily sweeping at Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan. Lin Yingmei and Dong Junqing saw their master in danger, and they had no choice but to give up their battle. Forging ahead quickly, their destined star weapons stopped the heaven sword. The crying infant abruptly wailed, and it opened its large mouth. A black light flew out and struck upon the two star generals' bodies. The two girls vomited a mouthful of foul blood but nevertheless tenaciously resisted crying infant's sword chop. The crying infant swept its tail. That lifted a vast wave from the sea. The other hand's shield blocked the star weapon's attacks. Aiming at the flickering shine of the purple star pearl, the heaven sword hacked downwards. Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan urged on their flying swords and could only retreat to higher elevation to dodge. Although the 6th rank demon beast was only equivalent to a galaxy cultivation, a prehistoric demon type was far more than being so simple. Evildoer, die. Zhao Hanyan pinched her hands together into an orchid hand seal, and 8 outer void flying deities' swords once again organized into a sword array. The crying infant spat out its long tongue that went to wrap Zhao Hanyan. Heaven knew that this demon beast could spit up such a long tongue, but Zhao Hanyan was so scared that her face was completely white, simply incapable of dodging. The long tongue's first attack stuck the multicolored light protecting her body, and that multicolored light was on the verge of collapse. When the second one shot over, Zhao Hanyan's face was like ash. A water thunder that filled the sky exploded on its tongue, sending it reeling back, and the crying infant loudly screamed. You? Zhao Hanyan looked in amazement at the Su Xing who had acted to provide assistance. Hurry! Su Xing coolly shouted. Actually, it was not because he truly wanted to save her, rather, with the current situation, he must save her. The two people fought against each other, and the snipe and the clam ended in a deadlock. 8. Their star energies were nearly exhausted, and Su Xing also simply did not have any methods. If Zhao Hanyan died, relying on himself, he would be unable to block the crying infant's attacks. Of course, Su Xing still had a thought to go about this. From the looks of the purple star pearl's form, he had to kill this kind of demon beast in order to obtain the outlaw writ. If this was the case, when the time to kill Zhao Hanyan came again and he could pick up a convenience, he was unsure if it was practical or not. Zhao Hanyan clearly realized this point, and reaching out her hand to point, 8 outer void flying deities' swords simultaneously twisted over to attack. The Crying Infant's Heaven Sword and Earth Shield currently were in a tangle with Lin Yingmei and Dong Junqing and were too busy to attend to these flying swords. The 8 golden swords launched, then carved out a bloody hole the size of a bowl. Fresh blood flowed directly out with a goo-goo. The Crying Infant erupted in a wail, and the sound was like a demonic noise pouring into their ears. Shi Yuan at this time let off without the slightest hesitation 2 copper man puppets to trample this Crying Infant to bring relief to the pressure on Lin Yingmei. If you have anything left, quickly use it. This princess will let you off on her matter today. Zhao Hanyan grasped the outer void flying deity's sword to go attack, already labored to the extreme. Even swallowing down several return spirit liquid could she barely be supported. But the Crying Infant was increasingly cunning and fierce. Its demonic noise of crying disrupted their states of mind. Wu Xinjie, and Suan and Shi Yuan simply did not have any way to get close, and the outer void flying deity's sword's might was ebbing little by little. This demonic noise seemed to have an effect on artifacts and magic weapons. Zhao Hanyan's that thing was distressing, but watching the Su Xing to the side clutching several ordinary flying swords going for the kill, she clenched her teeth and did not speak. Su Xing actually still had a jade water turtle dragon trident he could use, however, he currently was not that foolish that he would bring it out and exhaust his strength. With his hands tied and waiting to be captured, he again submissively sent the Crying Infant a gift. The Crying Infant's sword wind suppressed, and it swept out a more than dozen zhang hurricane. The coastal rocks were smashed, the forest pulled up by the roots. The strategist and divine physician basically had no way to approach the Crying Infant's attack range. If they were a little inattentive, they could be stuck and injured by the Heaven Sword's intense wind, the consequences too horrible to contemplate. Shi Yuan relied on her excellent nimbleness to have success swimming against the blade. From time to time, she used the hoodwinking flying claws to slice away several pieces of flesh, also forcing the Crying Infant to bawl with a crying expression. And Suan's hand grasped several mend injury pills, 9, wanting to provide assistance, but the battle was risky, a heavy weight hanging by a single thread, a front line of life and death. How could she be given the chance? If pills could be like talismans, that would do it. The divine physician inwardly worried. The Crying Infant surrounded by 6 people stopped its imposing, vast and violent attack, seemingly terrifying. They actually simply were unable to inflict a mortal wound on the Crying Infant. The group gradually was somewhat unable to support themselves, and the Crying Infant began to hold the winning position. Su Xing was just considering to prepare first catching his breath for the moment, when suddenly, he heard an intense eagle cry come from the sky above. Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan subconsciously lifted their heads, and a massive clump of a green shadow threw itself in their faces. On the basis of their fatigued weariness, they all were too late in perceiving it. The green shadow covered them, and it was astonishingly a massive demon eagle, its wings a serene green, like a lump of the clear sky. Zhao Hanyan cried out in fear, completely lacking any leeway to resist. Her body unexpectedly lost its center of gravity as she soared high into the sky together with it, captured in one of its talons. The talon's formidable power squeezed down on Zhao Hanyan, choking her, and she immediately lost consciousness. The green bird skyrocketed, glimpsing the 9th heaven, not getting tangled, and it disappeared into the horizon in the blink of an eye. Master! Princess! When the star maidens below saw their master unexpectedly taken away by the eagle, that was it. It was just that star maidens briefly were even capable of fighting in midair, but flying to go chase after it was simply impossible. When the green storm of a giant eagle carried away Su Xing Zhao Hanyan, Shi Yuan immediately recalled the Copper Man puppets and stealthily chased after it. The steadfast star general of double spears Dong Junqing raised the dragon and phoenix Yin Tang spear. Roaring furiously, a great expanse of spear light sprinkled upon it, a yin-yang intersect slash. The two-colored spear light filling the sky swallowed the Crying Infant, shaking the world. A huge crater had been blown out. A brilliant radiance broke out and directly shot Dong Junqing. Let's go quickly. Wu Xinjie yelled. Ling Mei also did not intend to continue zealously fighting, one spear attack chopping back the crying infant, and quickly fled into the forest. Dong Junqing said, "Hateful," and seeing Princess Ling Yan's scattered 8 golden deity swords, she hastily stored them away, then left. The crying infant chased for the kill, loudly crying, however the Star Maiden's speed was too quick. Through the forest, the complex topography of the valley, it perhaps chased for 50 or 60 kilometers, and then the infant's crying noises stopped. What was that thing just now? Dong Junqing's complexion was pale, holding firmly and not letting go of her double spears. Green-feathered storm. An 8th-rank demon beast. Wu Xinjie grimly spat out these few words. What? 8th-rank demon beast? The others were startled. An 8th-rank demon beast leaned on their very difficult victory. Do you still want to kill now? Wu Xinjie coldly looked at the Steadfast star. Humph. Dong Junqing naturally knew persisting to kill completely lacked significance. The top priority was to find her master. This place unexpectedly has this kind of demon beast. And Suan had lingering fears. This actually was not outside of Wu Xinjie's expectations. Seeing that the Void Liangshan's spiritual influence was abundant, having an immemorial air, not having 7th or 8th rank demon beasts would be strange, and this place was the area they would search for the Purple Star Great Outlaw Writ. It definitely would not be that relaxed. No wonder the Purple Star Great Outlaw Writ would have so few people go obtain it. If a 7th or 8th rank type of demon beast had to be slain to get it, that truly was not something the average person could do. At the moment, everyone maintain peace. Do not again alarm the demon beasts here. Wu Xinjie warned as she stared at Dong Junqing. The Steadfast star's lips curled into a hook, and turning her body, she ran up the mountain. Steadfast star, can't you first properly wear your clothes? Wu Xinjie called out. We're all women, what is there to properly wear? Dong Junqing voice echoed, the person herself already disappeared. Wu Xinjie shook her head and had Suan first give Ling Mei some strength replenishment and a recovery pill. Let's also leave quickly and follow the traces of the same path Shi Yuan took, and we should be able to find him. Will something happen to big brother Su Xing? Suan was endlessly worried. No. Wu Xinjie said comfortingly. She somewhat had an understanding towards a few of the demon beasts from the ancient, immemorial, and prehistoric demon types. Since the green-feathered storm did not rip apart its prey on the spot, but rather grabbed it away, also not attacking them, it could be said the green-feathered storm was preparing to feed its fledglings by taking the pair, including Su Xing. Thinking to this, Wu Xinjie not only did not relax her tone, but even wrinkled her brow further. Falling into a green-feathered storm's nest, this indeed was even more dangerous. The strong winds made a hu sound. Zhao Hanyan felt her entire body was light as a flying swallow. Not needing a flying sword to be able to freely soar heaven and earth, she was just like the legendary supervoid cultivators. Slowly, she felt her body swell with a matchless pain, and a formless, large lock had locked her up. Zhao Hanyan tried hard to break free, but the lock increasingly tightened. She suddenly opened her eyes, and what entered her eyes was that she was 10,000 fathoms away from the ground, hanging upside down in the air. Since she was little, Princess Ling Yan passed through extensive training. Unexpectedly not crying out, she only stared blankly for a time. You're up. A bored voice came from several dozen meters above her. Zhao Hanyan turned her head and saw Su Xing. Seeing his entire body had been captured by the eagle's talon, his appearance was even hilarious. Zhao Hanyan did not laugh, for she saw she herself was in the same circumstances. Only at this time did she recall the time she was fighting against the crying infant, and a demon animal suddenly attacked and captured them. Humph. A Zhao Hanyan multicolored light swelled on her body. That hairpin looked to be an exceptional treasure item. Su Xing relied on the golden thread fish scale armor to barely hold on, and the multicolored light that protected her body did not break under the eagle's claw. Otherwise, in that moment, Princess Ling Yan would be a beautiful woman that died. Zhao Hanyan's divine intent moved. Her right hand had a flickering gem shine on a chain bracelet, and the sight before Su Xing flashed. Princess Ling Yan indeed was imposing. Even if it was an astral bag, it was a delicate and gorgeous piece, standing out from the masses. Su Xing said with good intentions, "I advise that you best not resist. In the event that this demon beast discovers you are still alive, it certainly would not mind using its beak to hold your brains." Princess Ling Yan's expression turned pale, having been scared stiff by Su Xing's words. The astral chain bracelet's luster dimmed and faded. Princess Ling Yan was not stupid, and she naturally understood what the situation at hand was. This demon eagle could throw itself downwards and capture her at a time when everyone was completely unable to sense it, and the falling red cloud's hairpin had no way to resist. It could be seen that this demon beast simply was not something she could handle. "You sure are relaxed." Zhao Hanyan stared at Su Xing's nonchalant appearance with a slightly unsightly expression, and her eyes revealed some fear towards what was going to happen next. "If I was you, then I'd keep tranquil, restore physical strength. It can't be said for sure that when we're eaten that we could resist for a moment." Su Xing glanced across her, saying mockingly. "However, this still indeed is a rare and beautiful sight." Princess Ling Yan's entire naked body grasped inside an old eagle's talon. "Evil wretch, that Lin Chong would look upon you, truly blind dog eyes." Zhao Hanyan's face went crimson from anger, uttering a curse. "I don't know why Yingmei would look upon me. However, I know that why that steadfast star would look upon you," Su Xing ambiguously chuckled. How could Zhao Hanyan not realize his intentions? Coldly glaring at Su Xing, passing through such a disturbance, her mind actually had unusually calmed down. Princess Ling Yan looked doubtfully at Su Xing. "You did not say these things just now to deliberately let me calm down, right?" "You can tell." Su Xing nodded. Zhao Hanyan was yet to have a new level of respect for him when his next words shattered her fantasy. "I seem to have seen somewhere that when a person is scared, they secrete hormones that I hear make the flesh turn sour. Of course an outstanding beauty such as yourself being somewhat calm is good. Can't say for sure if those demon beasts eat you that they then wouldn't eat me, ha." Shameless lecher. Zhao Hanyan cursed. The green-feathered storm's flight was extremely quick. Several dozens of minutes later, they saw mountains 100 million zhang large. The mountains stood at the summit of white clouds, the fog lingering. On those precipices, sure enough, just as they imagined it, they saw a bird nest. Fledgling-looking birds that had a size 2 meters large cried piteously for food, opening their bloody beaks wide like sacrificial bowls, cheerfully squawking. Even if she was the great Liang's first princess, seeing that, she showed a trace of unsightliness. "Purple thunder monster, if you have any solutions, as long as we escape, this princess shall forget and not bear recriminations. 5. You really do keep it in mind constantly to put on airs." Su Xing rolled his eyes. "You really just do not fear death." Zhao Hanyan truly was unable to make sense of where this man got his confidence. Could it be he planned to pinch the purple star pearl to dust? However, with this demon beast's speed, perhaps it would be too late. The green-feathered storm gave an eagle cry, and it accelerated its speed as it dived. "Hey, if you want to live, then be fully alert." Su Xing's tone had become serious. "This princess is named Zhao Hanyan, not named He." Princess Ling Yan harumphed, realizing Su Xing's plan. Her eyes recovered their astute color, and the astral gemstone began to stir. "In a moment, it will hurl us down. This is our chance." Su Xing said. "Do we use flying swords to escape?" Zhao Hanyan stared blankly. Su Xing gave her an "are you an idiot?" expression. "You think your flying sword can escape from this demon beast's speed? Next time it grabs you, it certainly will not be as simple as making you dizzy." "Then what do you say we do?" "Of course it's hiding using the terrain." Su Xing said as his eyes simultaneously already sized up the area around the nest, seeing if there was a place to hide. This kind of demon beast's speed was too quick. Rather than flee, it would be better to hide, and wait for it to leave. The green-feathered storm relaxed its talons when it was 100 meters away from the chicks. Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan fell downwards, and the two both did not immediately use their magics in order to avoid alarming this demon beast. Su Xing's motioned, and the firebolt sword already appeared, condensing the last of his star energy on it. Gaga gaga. The chicks opened their large mouths, beginning to extend their necks in preparation of tearing at their falling prey. The one who did not know whether to laugh or cry was Princess Ling Yan, her light muslin fluttering in the wind, her spotlessly white as jade tender body completely exposed in the wind. She did not know either if this naked female body would attract them. The chicks fell over each other and stumbled backwards in their eagerness as they rushed and fought towards the direction she would fall. Su Xing could not help but smile briefly. The fuming Zhao Hanyan was even green in the face. The green-feathered storm spiraled into high altitudes, leaving the chicks in the blink of an eye needed only a few short meters, and this was the time. Su Xing lowly shouted, stimulating his star energy. The wooden sword transformed into a heavenly lightning earthly thunder that violently slashed downwards. The lightning fire directly chopped onto the body of the chick jumping most cheerfully. With the sound of an explosive boom, the chick was immediately thoroughly cooked. Zhao Hanyan's molten halo also covered a chick that wanted to eat her. Stepping one foot onto its beak, the other scrambling chicks were all completely scared stupid as they watched the two people that fell from the sky. Hiss! The green-feathered storm released an angry warbling, throwing itself downwards. The two people nearly had only just touched the ground, when they already were pounced upon. Covering a kilometer in a flash was a speed that would frighten people, and Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan entered into the pile of chicks. The green-feathered storm did not dare kill its own children, and it could only indignantly cry out. Green wings flew upward, launching countless feathers that were like swords. The chicks promptly flapped their wings to escape as they scattered. Go! Su Xing's firebolt sword remained, and the lightning fire fell on several feathers, his silhouette escaping. The green-feathered storm flapped its wings, and a green hurricane was swept out. A powerful pressure could almost lift the two people airborne, and the storm did not stop its flapping. Immediately sending sand flying and pebbles rolling, it covered the clouds and concealed the sun. Such an incredible power. Su Xing sensed his body was captured by the gale, and he vaguely was already slightly unable to support himself. This place has a cavern, let's hide first. Su Xing found on the mountain a subterranean tunnel, and not caring that much anymore, he planted himself and drilled into the tunnel. Princess Ling Yan also was unable to deal with it, her form precisely following. This cave was vertical going straight down, deeply penetrating beyond expectations. The two people dropped downwards at great speeds, nevertheless finally breaking away from the hurricane's threat. As the tunnel went further down, it became more and more narrow. With a banging sound, he had arrived at the bottom, throwing him down very painfully. Su Xing wrinkled his brow. A sudden fragrance assailed his nose, and lifting his head to look, oh gosh, this was exceedingly serious. Zhao Hanyan's white jade-like body just like that fell into his bosom. Ah! The two people simultaneously let out cries of surprise. Su Xing cried out because he was slightly disappointed. When Zhao Hanyan fell, she unexpectedly had a white silk cloak draped over her, covering her handsome and wonderful body. Zhao Hanyan cried out purely out of fear from landing onto a man's chest. In the narrow cavern, the man and woman were just like two clumps of cotton squeezed into a single piece. At this time, the advantages of a girl's flat chest were embodied. That soft, plump and elastic chest of Princess Ling Yan pressed onto Su Xing's stomach, both provoking and stifling him. As far as Zhao Hanyan was concerned, how could this not be a frightening affair? Since she had grown this big, this was still the very first time she was wrapped up with a man into a ball. Her pure and holy jade peaks simply were not held back and were openly offered, tightly pressing against her counterpart's wide chest. The tips of the two's noses intimately touched each other, and they could even feel the heat of their breath. A man's masculine scent directly pounced on her, disturbing and confusing Zhao Hanyan's state of mind, making her restless. From outside the cavern came an eagle's cry, the cave mouth screaming. The two did not dare say anything. Princess Ling Yan was in complete regret. When she originally acted, she was too hasty and did not properly wear her clothes. Her current single cloak, thin as a cicada's wing at best, covered the young girl's erotic shyness, but the close touch of her skin did not decrease one bit, seemingly as if her own body was being toyed with. Zhao Hanyan abruptly felt a hard object between her legs suddenly stick at her ideal place. Her tender body shivered, and she screeched in a low voice, "Shameless pervert, what things are you doing to this princess?" Zhao Hanyan glared with her two eyes, her face crimson. Twisting her hips, a stiff thing currently slowly raised itself, pointing upwards towards her chest as it pressed between her legs. However, when she moved, that hard thing was then even harder, like steel, and through the cloth, there was a faint trace of fiery heat. Her leg was quickly becoming limp. "Hurry and take away that damned thing of yours. Making a fuss out of nothing, this is the normal reaction of a man, that's all." Su Xing ponderously smiled. With a nephrite warmth and fragrance, too, while also being intimate and not wearing a single thread, it was impossible for a man to be honest and upright. 3. If he had been a bit more worse than a beast, Zhao Hanyan would have already executed him on the spot. "If you provoke me once more, I certainly would not blame myself for being rude." Su Xing deliberately made his tone a bit more vile. Although the absolute sincerity soul technique he used could suppress involuntary lust, using it like this all the time, wondering whether or not it would make him impotent, he might as well let things take their course. Princess Ling Yan's face was both red and white as she was scared stiff by Su Xing's words. Currently, the two had practically completely lost their star energies, and she was also trapped in a narrow cavern that made her incapable of fully using her hands and feet. If Su Xing wanted to do a bit of something, she really could do nothing about it. "If you dare to take advantage of this princess would rather be eaten by that demon bird and take you down with her." Zhao Hanyan tightly bit her pearly white teeth, setting her determination. Su Xing rolled his eyes as he moved his body, each other's skin rubbing, stirring up a sort of indescribable pleasure in Zhao Hanyan. She could not help recall Dong Juanqing's mutual rubbing, and she immediately was somewhat moist. 5. This damned lecher. 6. Zhao Hanyan's heart hatefully scolded. Ages afterward, Zhao Hanyan was somewhat tired, being limited by this space, her body unable to turn, she was even somewhat numb to an even stronger lust. "How should we get out?" She raised her head and asked. The cavern's depth was a kilometer. Incapable of raising a sword, they were simply unable to climb out. Perhaps pinch apart the purple star pearl. Su Xing also did not think of a solution. Coming up with a rotten idea, pinching the purple star pearl to dust would let them escape Void Liangshan in a flash, but the problem was that he did not know if star generals would also follow them out. In addition, there was only one opportunity to obtain the Liangshan outlaw writ plate. Su Xing was not resigned to giving up like this. Princess Ling Yan had the same thinking as he. Until after the third phase, Evil Smiting Hall, commenced, the future star energy cultivation of star masters was a crucial point of the star duels. Losing the opportunity to become an outlaw also signified they fell a step behind others. Let alone obtaining the outlaw writ of purple star grade, that undoubtedly was receiving formidable support. The two did not have a solution, and they could only wait for the star generals to come calling for them. Having signed contracts, they were not afraid of that the girls would not find them. Why would you think of participating in the star duels? Unoccupied and bored, Su Xing curiously asked about gossip of the great Liang's imperial palace. And why would you participate? Zhao Hanyan disdained to reply. Who in Liangshan would not know that the star duel's victor would get one wish? And who would not want to, for this reason, wish for the cherished dream of immortality? Su Xing's embarrassment was brought about by himself. And again, he gossiped about the great Liang's imperial palace's secret rumors with Zhao Hanyan. For example, something like the True Immortals Hall, the several star masters her siblings had, what stars they signed, and what kind of person Liang Huizong was, and other things. The great Liang's royal family had influence in the Azure Dragon territory. In brief, it seemed as if it was their family property. Princess Ling Yan's heart said this purple thunder monster truly was abnormal. Not long before, they were even irreconcilable adversaries. Now, he was beginning to intimately inquire the daily life of her family, and impatiently. Afterwards, in a curious coincidence, she replied. She also unavoidably asked Su Xing questions in response regarding the matters of the purple thunder monster, the majestic star Lin Chong, and the other star maidens around him. Inside these fragmentary words of gossip, the two forgot about their embarrassing situation for the time being. Unaware of how much time passed, Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan both closed their eyes, somewhat tired. Not long after, they suddenly heard a HUHU sound drop down from above. The two lifted their heads to see a ball of a shadow cover downwards. Su Xing at once called out his flying sword, breaking it. A tearing sound. The flying sword penetrated through the shadow, and that shadow was all split up and in pieces as it fell downwards with a whoosh, and they looked as if mud covered their entire bodies. That really stinks, what damnable thing is this? Zhao Hanyan grabbed the sticky, disgusting thing in her hair. Guano. Su Xing looked, his brows creasing. Zhao Hanyan retched, even having a thought of dying. Having her body blasphemed by a man was enough, but surprisingly, a stupid bird even dared to behave atrociously against her body. This princess afterwards must cleanly behead this demon beast. Su Xing only took her to be venting her depression. At this moment, there was another lump of a black shadow falling down. Knowing that was Guano, Zhao Hanyan's complexion greatly changed, unexpectedly resting her head in Su Xing's chest, wanting to avoid a fate of being nasty. Su Xing remained silent. Smiling slyly, he reached out his hand to grab Zhao Hanyan's cloak, suddenly tossing it, throwing off the cloak concealing her body. Shameless lecher. This princess and you are not finished. The girl shrieked. This time, she was thoroughly exposed. However, Su Xing actually did not suddenly want to brutalize her. Throwing the cape, it screened off the place above them, and they only heard the cloak sink as it caught a great amount of guano. Zhao Hanyan understood his intentions, but she nevertheless hatefully gnashed her teeth. The magnificent first princess of the great Liang unexpectedly fell into this sort of plight where she had been peeled naked by a man. Her sole source of joy was that the darkness had become leeway, a final protective screen. The heavy sounds falling from overhead were greater and greater. The demon beast was actually gleefully scattering its excrement. A jade light like a stage light suddenly flashed, and in a split second, illuminated the cavern. What are you doing? Zhao Hanyan's handsome, clever, sweet and graceful figure was clearly revealed. She wanted to cover but had no way to cover, and she could only allow the man before her attentively take a look. Quiet down, I found a way out. Su Xing inwardly praised Zhao Hanyan's pretty good build. On the surface, he still maintained a solemn appearance, and then pointing his outstretched hand, a flying sword rushed towards the ground, executing an attack. Zhao Hanyan stared blankly, even forgetting her feelings of shame. How could that be? Hurry and use your flying sword. Break open a path. Su Xing was grave, controlling his flying sword to continuously penetrate. Have you gone mad? How could a flying sword dig a hole? This tunnel should be the drainage for those demon beasts' excrement. It seems it's accumulated much for years on end, and now it's blocked. We have to hurry and remove the blockage now, and we should be able to get out. Su Xing's expression was severe. You are certain? Zhao Hanyan hesitated. If you're any slower, in a moment, you'll be drowned by excrement. Su Xing sneered. Zhao Hanyan's face was pale. She had never thought over that there would be this sort of sullen way to die. But to leave through a passage stopped up with guano made her very nauseous. Seeing the cloak overhead was about to cave in, and knowing Su Xing's words were not a joke, several tons of excrement pushing down really would be being buried alive. This princess indeed was born under an ill star. Princess Ling Yan moaned, once again rolling out clothes from the astral chain bracelet. The multicolored hairpin effused a faint multicolored light that protected her body, so as to avoid suffering the encroachment of guano. Only afterwards did she use the bit of magic energy she just recovered and brandished her sword together with Su Xing. They did not know either how long these guano deposits had been accumulating. Hard as stone, it was hard to imagine the flying swords could pierce through. In a moment, they would be buried alive. Suddenly, Zhao Hanyan thought of something, gnashing her teeth. Raising two jasper flying swords, the flying swords intertwined like vines. Trapped together, Zhao Hanyan anxiously spoke. "Hurry, spit out essence blood onto a sword." Her words spoken, Zhao Hanyan bit open her fingertip, 7, and a drop of dark red blood fell onto one of her swords. Su Xing did not know what she wanted to do, and he briefly hesitated. Seeing the nervous look in Zhao Hanyan's eyes, he also dripped essence blood onto the other, divine intent pouring the blood. They saw the two flying swords radiate a penetrating jade light, coming to life like a willow vine, and a type of fantastic feeling entered his ocean of consciousness. "Go!" the two simultaneously ordered. The jasper flying swords again twisted together, the jade light penetrating and drilling. The earth split open, and in a flash, ran through a large hole. SFX. Rumble the guano above their heads fell down at this time. The two people one after the other hastily flashed into the hole, moving quickly and falling. The two green swords were like a terrifying drilling machine, boring out a path without any obstructions. Falling for several hours, the sword lights suddenly sparkled. A fresh and clean air hit them in the face. As Su Xing expected, there was an exit. Zhao Hanyan was delighted, and she quickly scuttled out of the cave. Outside of the cave mouth was an immense pool. The two immersed themselves in the deep water, and seeing the mild pond water, Zhao Hanyan never had been moved like this. The extremely excited Princess Ling Yan did not forget that there was an additional man to the side. Lightly skimming the water with her toe, she slid behind a large stone, simultaneously warning, "Don't you come over." She had already been completely seen anyways. Su Xing did not know what she had to be reserved about, however, he did not have a hobby of peeping. Without telling her, he headed for the other end of the clean pool, washing away the stinking filth off his body. That pair of green swords that carried them inconceivably beyond the heavens just floated in the center of the pool, glistening with bluish-green light. Unexpectedly shooting out two green lights to the left and right that covered his and Zhao Hanyan's bodies, the two were seemingly connected together like an arch bridge, a scene of extreme aesthetic beauty. Su Xing lifted his head, looking at this apparently not-so-ordinary artifact. Moving his divine intent, the just a little bit bigger sword flew before him. That a flying sword of such strong penetrative power was unexpectedly forged out of a tree went against Su Xing's expectations. The willow on the sword extended, curling and twisting, resembling an additional flying sword that was reluctant to part. Su Xing, baffled, asked, "Zhao Hanyan, what is the background of this sword?" That head in the pool extraordinarily fell into silence. "This sword is called Intertwined Branch Sword," Zhao Hanyan replied. Dropping these words, the other floating green sword was sucked away by her. Intertwined Branch Sword. Su Xing felt that not only was this sword's appearance eccentric, its name was also very odd. Ages afterward, Princess Ling Yan washed her body clean. Appearing in front of Su Xing, her feet upon a flying sword, wearing a simple and elegant palace robe, her expression gentle and refined, filled with a noble air, she had already resumed a princess-dignified appearance. "This princess will leave first to find Junqing." An escape light leapt up after Zhao Hanyan finished speaking, rushing towards the east. "You don't want this sword?" Su Xing was somewhat surprised. Princess Ling Yan did not reply, leisurely distancing herself. Su Xing responded to Lin Yingmei's position, soon after following over. He turned over in his hands the intertwined branch sword that showed a trace of an uncommon breath, again, not knowing just what this was. I'll ask Xinjie when I get back, she should know, Su Xing thought, always feeling that the expression Zhao Hanyan had after emerging was somewhat unusual. The void Liangshan was extremely large, without dividing the day and night. Riding sword flight for several days without seeing the slightest sign of human habitation, the thick undergrowth and mountains were continuous and unending, the forest a snaking wave of pines like the sea. That demon beast's speed indeed was really abnormal. It had flown for not even several hours only, yet Su Xing fully used several days and was not halfway there. During these days, Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan conserved their star energy on one hand while recovering on the other. While en route, they ran into many demon beasts, and the lowest was a 6th rank. They even ran into 2 9th ranks, a clear sky azure dragon, 2, struggling with an ocean-swallowing python. 3. This type of demon beast's strength equivalent to supervoid was sufficient to rapidly dispatch the 2 people. The power raised by the 2 beasts turned the sky and earth upside down. Toppling the mountains and overturning the seas, the birds and beasts within 100 li were eradicated. Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan did not have thoughts of catching the snipe and the clam in a deadlock. Who were they kidding, 9th-rank demon beasts fighting against one another then taking them down with itself, that was a dream. And they did not know just what background the void Liangshan had, and it made Su Xing's heart increasingly heavy to obtain the purple star writ. When Su Xing's purple star pearl showed a second crack, the 2 finally ran into Shi Yan. The star generals were all travel-worn, having also met many difficulties along the way. Seeing that Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan were safe, their hearts that were stretched taut for ages also relaxed. Princess, you're all right? The steadfast star Dong Junqing already changed into a red smock, asking with some worry. Zhao Hanyan shook her head. Princess, this is your golden deity sword. Dong Junqing raised her hand, and 8 golden swords appeared before her eyes. Princess Ling Yan smiled reminiscently when she saw that golden sword. Storing the 72 outer void flying deity's sword in her astral chain bracelet, it seems that in the future I'd better think of a way. Only by pouring it into this life's heart could it work. Poured into this sword of heart, even if a star cultivator lost consciousness, suffered harm, the golden sword would automatically defend, and it would not lose its divine intent and be lost. Lin Yingmei and Wu Xinjie were with Shi Yuan. And Suan also promptly walked over. The divine physician checked Su Xing's pulse, and at this time, a concentrated killing intent came from behind. Lin Yingmei turned, her spear catching the dragon and phoenix yin yang. Dong Junqing's eyes had resumed their murderous look, the corner of her mouth hooked into a giddy smile. Just when Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan returned, a battle was initiated. The steadfast star general of double spears really was not willing to waste a single bit of time. The majestic star swung her spear and flung Dong Ping away. As she stopped in midair, Dong Junqing suddenly grasped rightly the dragon and phoenix yin yang double spears. A cold light and a warm light evenly circulated. One look showed she was preparing to use yin-yang cross-slash, and Lin Yingmei blossomed into a disdainful sneer, her spear edges white light circulating, wind and snow twisting. Long blizzard nights was awaiting activation after having gathered power. Just at this moment, 2 voices agreeing by chance abruptly spoke. Yingmei, forget it. Junqing, desist. The 2 5-tiger stars stopped and revealed astonished expressions at Su Xing's and Zhao Hanyan's mutual understanding, but they did not dare disobey, restraining their powers. They cast expressions of not being able to understand, especially Dong Junqing's eyes, which concealed a trace of indignation. Although Su Xing had 4 star generals with him, if she resolutely risked it all, with Zhao Hanyan's cultivation and the 72 outer void flying deity's sword, other artifacts and astral treasures, the opponent simply would not have any chance at obtaining victory. Even if she could not kill them, seizing the opportunity to force them out of the void Liangshan was also a gain. She, Dongping, certainly did not want to see the master of the General of Double Spears be irresolute when confronting the enemy. Princess Ling Yan had no alternative. How could she not want to pull out the muscles and bones of Su Xing, this lecher who philandered she, the first princess of the Great Liang, and smash his bones and scatter his ashes? It was only an accident arising from many causes that she currently not only could not kill him. She even had to spare no effort in protecting him if he received harm. The reason was very simple. Intertwined branch swords. Wu Xinjie was shocked. It couldn't be the divine sword of the legendary thousand-year pact, could it? Su Xing shrugged his shoulders, as he was quite not guilty. In fact, during these days on a hasty journey, Su Xing foresaw that there would be a fierce battle when they met up. If it was one-on-one, he knew that he was not a match for Princess Ling Yan's 72 Outer Void Flying Deity's sword. Now and then, he took advantage of Princess Ling Yan's complete lack of defense, and he did not fail to think of first seizing the chance to make her lose her resistance, but just as this thought formed, his divine intent would have an incomparably acute pain. Princess Ling Yan rejoiced at his misfortune as she informed him of the cause. The intertwined branch was an immemorial secret treasure. It took the golden cassia intertwined tree 1,000 years to have 2 mature intertwined branches. Created using a forging and melting flame of the mind, its pair of swords required the essence, blood and divine intent of lovers in order to work. When the divine intents were arranged, then the man and woman pair were not allowed to have any harmful intentions towards the other party. Otherwise, under the spell, a party would be in so much pain they would wish for death, and if any one party died, the other would suffer damage if the party was personally killed by the hand of the other. Even if the counterpart died, if the intertwined branch withered, the party's own mind would be extinguished, going to the underworld together. It could even be said to be a genuine, on earth, we will become 2 branches that will never separate. 5. Princess, how could you carve down the intertwined branch with this man? Dong Juanqing's expression was extremely unsightly, as if she was itching to swallow Su Xing alive. Zhao Hanyan was also treated unjustly. After she broke away from her predicament, she had thought of slicing and dicing Su Xing, and only when her divine intent received a stabbing pain did she remember it was because of this sword. At the time she took out the intertwined branch, she did not know at all this sword's name. After all, the intertwined branch swords that had not been seen in 1,000 years was just a legend. This was only a memento left behind for her by her mother, who said it was for when she would meet a difficulty in the future, to find a beloved man and use this sword together with him, and that difficulty would be easily solved. Zhao Hanyan only took it to be a powerful magic weapon that was to be used by a man and woman together. Otherwise, if she had known that she would sign a lifelong contract with a man, Zhao Hanyan would rather have died instead of doing so. But I heard that the intertwined branch swords was not so simple that essence, blood and divine intent could promise an underworld oath. Wu Xinjie knit her brow, her heart somewhat uncomfortable. She carried a trace of a lover's jealousy as she looked at Zhao Hanyan. If both parties' hearts were not connected, then it would be impossible. Could it be? The knowledge star suddenly felt her throat clog. Of course I and Zhao Hanyan urgently escaped, perhaps that connected our hearts. Su Xing replied, somewhat with a lack of confidence. Princess Ling Yan's charming face was slightly red. That long time of close skinship probably was one among several reasons. Zhao Hanyan doubted herself over whether it was because she had all her secrets seen by the man before her that she would have this kind of thought. No matter how it was said, the intertwined branch sword was just like a signed contract, their divine intent simply incapable of erasing it. As long as the intertwining someday did not break, then Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan could even be said to be husband and wife. This is too ridiculous. How would the star duels end? Shi Yuan was stunned. She somewhat disliked that princess, and unexpectedly, she and Master Su Xing ineffably became husband and wife. Legend says Vegas 6, tears can heal every injury of passion and contract, or it can erase the intertwining. 7. Wu Xinjie was in a very foul mood. It was evident that her relationship was all but confirmed, but that was unexpectedly stolen away by this princess. And it was Lin Yingmei who did not leave a trace of a frown. Besides Ensuan, the three girls all wished they could destroy Zhao Hanyan, making Zhao Hanyan herself feel confused. Could it be that this lecher called Su Xing infatuated these three-star maidens? The mood for a time was taciturn. Still, it was Ensuan who broke this awkwardness of enemy-turned-lover. Does this intertwined branch have a use? It does. As long as the user's feelings are linked, the double swords can merge, its power and influence endless. Wu Xinjie pursed her lips. The star maidens could also use the intertwined branches. She originally had a fantasy where she obtained this remnant. This princess definitely will not train with him. Zhao Hanyan mouth wrinkled. I also will not train this kind of hideous mess of an intertwining. Su Xing also did not have time for this kind of spark. However, if the young masters use it, it is actually a way to obtain the purple star outlaw writ in the void Liangshan. Wu Xinjie muttered irresolutely. The cranky went with the cranky, and having this intertwined branch actually was surprisingly useful. The knowledge star asked, Young master, how much longer does the purple star pearl have currently? Su Xing took out the pearl. The purple pearl was split with 2 cracks. Only 4 more, and the pearl would shatter. At that time, Su Xing would break away from the void Liangshan, and the outlaw writ plate would be declared thoroughly shattered. The purple star grade void Liangshan's dangers far exceeded the imagination. A few of the demon beasts that could make the purple star pearl resonate were all 5th or 6th rank. Should a star master be by himself, if he did not have a heavenly spirit grade astral treasure, it was hard to score a victory. Right now, we can only join hands, isn't that so? Wu Xinjie said. Zhao Hanyan attentively gazed at the purple star pearl, not saying a word. The steadfast star general of double spears Dong Junqing ruthlessly shot a glance at Su Xing, but she did not have any solutions. As the matter stood, they could only join hands. How are you? I am also great. The sea of forest was like a wave, and suddenly, a great roar came through. The birds of the forest disorderly flew all over the place in fright. A huge demon beast rushed out of the forest, and that one was a bizarre organism. Possessing sturdy forelegs and an immense body, 2 wings, 1 eye and a full mouth of sharp teeth, its forehead had single horn. 6th rank demon beast, one-eyed dragon. 8. The one-eyed dragon sprayed out a wide area of acid rain. Several figures were like boats in wildly swelling waters, moving between the gaps in the acid rain by a hair's breadth. 2 silhouettes skimmed over, suddenly pulling their bodies up. Like the arrow on a bowstring, they flew straight for the one-eyed dragon's head and occupied it. When the people were in midair, a cold spear and 2 yin-yang double spears already violently waved forth, their power already following the weapon's flight as they launched. The dull, peng-peng sound did not cease, and the one-eyed dragon's head and shoulders all continuously swelled with bloody flowers. It was obviously already injured by sharp weapons, but it simply did not have any reaction. Loudly roaring, every kind of terrifying highly concentrated melted matter was randomly released. The forest and earth were all corroded. Ling Yingmei and Dong Junqing dodged in succession. Young masters, quickly! Wu Xinjie yelled. The riding sword flying Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan were in midair, the intertwined branch swords at their sides. The intertwined branch sword's blue-green light faintly formed a bridge, spanning between and linking the 2 people, forming a kind of fantastic atmosphere. The girls who were watching were jealous to death. Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan successively formed seals. The intertwined branch sword's blue-green light ascended leisurely, then shot over. The light of the intertwined branch swords shot directly. This divine sword of thousand-year contract was weak and powerless, not a bit imposing. Wu Xinjie saw the 2 simply could not achieve a genuine connection of their hearts, and she did not know whether or not she should be glad. The one-eyed dragon sprayed a ball of acid and stopped the intertwined branch swords. Its body flashed by, opening up its claws as it bit towards Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan, a lump of a sticky, sulfuric smell spouting out. Su Xing controlled his sword to dodge out of the way, and the one-eyed dragon chased and bit after him. Its simply enormous body that ordered this demon beast's speed actually was not very quick. The experience Su Xing had acting as the most accomplished top-notch Air Force trump card was now exhibited. Controlling the sword as if he was piloting a fighter, from time to time, he made rapid and steep dives. From time to time, he changed direction. From time to time, he rolled. The girls who saw this were all dumbstruck. This style of riding sword flight of Su Xing's overturned their conceptions about it. Since the intertwined branches are useless, we had better join hands then. The 15th seat Steadfast star Dongping giggled. Watching the Su Xing being chased everywhere, Wu Xinjie and the rest did not oppose. Using the heaven-concealing star fan to add the dark rank magic speed is a crucial asset in war as support to Su Xing. His speed increased. Su Xing was even more of a swimming blade flying around the one-eyed dragon's whole body. The knowledge star's magic is indeed not bad. Dong Juanqing's eyes released light. Don't think that I will help support you. Wu Xinjie sneered. The steadfast star harumphed, not thinking that she would support was only natural. Clenching the dragon and phoenix yin-yang spear, she rushed up. Su Xing's fingers kept thunder in containment, now and then shooting several blooming water divine thunders. It was just that given his present actions, the blooming water divine thunder was not enough to harm the one-eyed dragon. You animal, don't run. Lin Yingmei shouted, soaring into the air. A spear stabbed towards the one-eyed dragon, its sharp scales obstructing the spear tip. The one-eyed dragon's tail whipped around, striking at Lin Yingmei from the front. The girl drew back her spear to block, her body sinking. Then, when it sprayed a rain of acid, Lin Yingmei did not withdraw. On the contrary, the Arctic star spear's cold light shot and rolled out a cold mist cloud soul that blocked the acid. Hey! Zhao Hanyan at this time also used the 72 outer void flying deity's sword. 8 golden flying swords formed a sword array. The golden swords turned into lines, rushing and twisting towards the one-eyed dragon for the kill. Just like a golden sword net, they crisscrossed and trapped the one-eyed dragon. The sword light that became golden threads repeatedly twisted and cut, the dragon scales and flying swords giving rise to a fierce noise. Su Xing was impressed. As expected, this sword art was not something a few artifacts could compare to. Princess Ling Yan's outer void deity's flying sword practice had just begun, and it was this powerful. If he tried something, she would use this sword array on him, and he would be forced out of the void Liangshan by her, without exception. The great Liang royal family's star master could not be underestimated. Su Xing saw her really put out energy this way, and he himself was not idle. Using his own greatest ability, purple star blooming water divine thunder, 2, thunderlight assembled, and a purple flower followed star energy, condensing slowly and becoming large. In the blink of an eye, it was several meters in size. Despite Su Xing controlling such a large divine thunder, it was somewhat strenuous. Su Xing pointed an outstretched hand and announced, "Go." The purple divine thunder exploded on the one-eyed dragon's body, purple thunder taken in and emitted in great quantities. The thunder vigorously roared, and the one-eyed dragon let loose a loud howl. "Purple thunder monster, just what is this ability of yours?" Princess Ling Yan said, astonished. Inside the great Liang dynasty's celestial library, she had seen many of every type of the astonishing and divine thunders of Liangshan continent. The purple divine thunders she knew of included, purple thunder heavenly calamity, soul-transforming underworld thunder, 3, overwhelming purple thunder, but the purple divine thunder Su Xing used appeared to be water yet not water. Showing a magic purple cloud, it quite had the air of an immortal. Purple Palace Magic Cloud Immortal's Thunder. 5. If you don't know it, you're short-sighted. Su Xing arbitrarily made up a story. Purple Palace Magic Cloud Immortal's Thunder. Zhao Hanyan did not mind about Su Xing's rude words. Hearing this name, she actually did not doubt it. Humph. What purple palace magic cloud immortals thunder? Can it stop this general's dragon and phoenix yin yang? Dong Junqing coldly grinned. Quickly use your unique skills. Wu Xinjie admonished. Su Xing's purple palace magic cloud immortals thunder, and Zhao Hanyan's outer void immortal flying deities sword array trapped the one-eyed dragon, but the two's cultivations were too lacking. At best, they could delay it and bring about a few injuries, but they were inadequate in taking its like. The final thing they relied on nevertheless was the Heavenly Star General's military might and unique skills. Dong Junqing soared into the air. Jumping into the air, the dragon and phoenix yin-yang spears' light sharply increased. Crossing the double spears, a wide crescent moon flowed out like mercury. They saw that the space had been torn asunder by the two spear lights. How could Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan dare to stand at the side? Hastily, they recalled their star energy and flew off. The yin-yang cross-slash's innumerable spear lights were like a rainstorm that entirely exploded on the one-eyed dragon. Its severed sounds made their hair stand on end. Dragon scales spattered, flesh sprayed, and on the other side, majestic star Lin Yingmei also tightly clenched double spears, 6, using long blizzard nights. The one-eyed dragon roared, unexpectedly breaking the yin-yang cross-slash's attack, and then it pounced on Dong Junqing. Just at this moment, Lin Yingmei's figure flashed, dropping beside the one-eyed dragon in the blink of an eye. Shouting, the Arctic Star Spear cleaved towards the one-eyed dragon. The spear's power was continuous and unending, one attack followed by another. The blizzard on the spear's tip suddenly permeated the whole place, awe-inspiringly penetrating the bone and piercing the scales. In a moment, the one-eyed dragon had been trapped in the spear's blizzard by Lin Yingmei's long blizzard nights, pitifully crying over and over. By the time long blizzard nights subsided, the one-eyed dragon was covered in cuts and bruises. Its body retained the wounds cut out by the 1,000 blades of the yin-yang cross-slash. These wounds went through a spear tip's awe-inspiring ruin. Completely frozen, the one-eyed dragon's entire body shivered, unexpectedly resisting two Heavenly Star's great attacks. Its sturdy foreclaws swept one after the other at Lin Yingmei and Dong Junqing, repelling the two women. Shi Yuan at this time raised a puppet banner. Copper man puppets like giants firmly grasped the one-eyed dragon's wings. Having just received the yin-yang cross-slash and long blizzard nights, the one-eyed dragon for a time could only bellow and struggle. And Suan's child and mother-linked heart's needles at this moment exhibited an odd effect. The silver needles spun rapidly, each stabbing into the weak points of the one-eyed dragon's wings, which was matched by the copper man puppets dragging that tore clean off the two wings. The one-eyed dragon sprayed towards the sky, and acid rain fell in a radius of 100 meters. The group hastily evaded. Before Princess Ling Yan, there was a flash, and she suddenly shouted, "Demon beast, accept death." Zhao Hanyan's hand grasped the purple star pearl, imbuing it with star energy. It was as if the purple star pearl had turned into a shining sun. A magic seal like a totem amulet flew out from the purple star pearl, and the pearl rose dramatically as it smashed downwards. Not good. Su Xing changed. But he was a step too late. In the middle of the purple star pearl's flash, it smashed into the one-eyed dragon's opening and closing maw. Then, a clump of sharp purple light burst out from within the one-eyed dragon's body. The one-eyed dragon struggled briefly on its deathbed, and then its breath completely disappeared. The group was stunned by this abrupt change. Su Xing, truly many thanks to you. This princess will take her leave first. Zhao Hanyan craftily smiled. Hooking with her finger, the purple star pearl broke apart. The pearl swallowed the one-eyed dragon's internal alchemy and unexpectedly disintegrated into a purple-colored star-marked jade pendant. 7. Astonishingly, this was the Liangshan outlaw jade pendant. 8. Don't think of leaving. Lin Yingmei clenched her teeth, her cold spear chopping. The purple jade pendant released a multicolored light that enveloped Zhao Hanyan and Dong Junqing, the space warping. Lin Chong, next time, let us again fight earnestly one more time. Dong Junqing sneered. Su Xing, in consideration of you aiding this princess in obtaining this jade pendant, this princess will let you off for the matter that transpired here. Zhao Hanyan brows widened. This demon beast also will be given to you. Su Xing suddenly laughed out loud. Zhao Hanyan. You indeed have big boobs but no brain. What did you say? Zhao Hanyan and Dong Junqing stared blankly, not understanding why Su Xing would smile so smugly. He should be very clear that a single person absolutely could not obtain the Liangshan pendant. Zhao Hanyan, next time, I will properly give you my respects. Until then, definitely do not forget to fulfill the duties you have in the capacity of a wife. Su Xing chuckled. Shameless lecher. Zhao Hanyan's face was red, spitting and cursing. And without letting her curse another sentence more, in the blink of an eye, she was separated from the void Liangshan. By the time she left, the world immediately sunk into a non-stop deathly stillness. This Princess Ling Yan is truly too vile, unexpectedly exploiting us. Shi Yuan was furious. Waving the puppet banner, she stored away the copper man puppets. We were careless. Wu Xinjie was vexed. Not only could the purple star pearl detect the outlaw writ plate, it finally also could act as a fatal blow, letting Zhao Hanyan pick up a great convenience. Forget it, there was no way around this. The great Liang's princess understand this purple star pearl's secrets far more than we do. Su Xing shook his head. Zhao Hanyan doing this was not unanticipated. If it were him, he would have done the same. Even if there was the intertwined branches, the two always would still return to being enemies. 9. First of all, it constrained the counterpart's superiority, dying in the void Liangshan. It could not be said that the intertwined branches would not suffer from a rescindment. Even if Su Xing did not perish, if it was he alone, it would be very difficult to obtain the jade pendant. This way also could be considered in the star duels as taking possession of a decisive opportunity. It could even be said that Zhao Hanyan played this killing two birds with one stone shrewdly. However, just who had taken possession of the decisive opportunity still was not apparent. Su Xing took out the pearl and sunk into contemplation. Turning his head, he said, Shi Yuan, store this demon beast's soul. Using a 6th rank demon beast is sufficient enough material to make a galaxy-grade mechanism. Shi Yuan nodded. Opening the soul-sealing bottle, the soul was put away. Although receiving a 6th rank soul was a happy thing, recalling that Zhao Hanyan had taken away the all-important purple star outlaw writ, the thief star just could not get into high spirits. Big brother Su Xing, are we going? And Suan helplessly asked. Go, of course we're going. Su Xing nodded, not a bit of dejection on his face. On the contrary, he showed a crafty smile, but, it's only natural that we cannot return empty-handed. Master, do you have some sort of plan? Lin Yingmei put away her spear and resumed her calm. What do you all think of this void Liangshan? Su Xing asked in reply. Very magical. Refining pills is much more successful compared to before. In her capacity as the divine physician, Suan's body had the benefits of learning spiritual power from experience. These spiritual influences of vigorous pure essence not only were the essence-swallowing dragon's delicacies, pills that were often unable to be refined in the Azure Dragon territory had a chance to be refined here. That's why I said Zhao Hanyan really is too stupid. Such a difficult-to-get advantage and she does not properly exploit it. Su Xing stored the purple star pearl. Wu Xinjie quickly understood Su Xing's plan. Young master, your intent is for us to stay here and train. When I had been snatched away by the demon eagle, I discovered a place. It's very suitable for Suan to breed the essence-swallowing dragons, so let's go there first. The void Liangshan is such a happy paradise, not using it in full, that is just too pitiful. When Zhao Hanyan was in the middle of leaving, Su Xing thought of this. Doing things like this, he would not need to worry about a few secrets being found out. Taking advantage of several days, we first need to firmly grasp our training. Shinjie just does not believe that only relying us that we cannot take the outlaw writ. The knowledge star's eyes flashed a cold light. We must make that damned princess regret this. Sure, Yuan nodded. The Su Xing watching them smiled. His sword light spun a whirlwind, and he did not enter the sea of clouds. You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.